Welcome to the fantasy audiobook. My cells are so arrogant that they will evolve on their own. Chapter 1. Zhongcheng, Number 14 Human Survival Base. In the outer city, a family of 4 was enjoying themselves and was preparing to finish their meal. Today celebrate Xiao Yu's becoming a trainee martial artist. Son, you have to drink a few bottles with me. A middle-aged man with gray hair was already seated, his face full of glory. Li Kunlun smiled and said, Dad, we have to go to work tomorrow. The operation of the towers of the defensive barriers in Dongcheng district is no joke. Little sister Li Xiaoyu didn't even need a bottle opener. She flicked her thumb under the bottle cap and opened 4 bottles of beer with a quick movement. She gave Li Kunlun 2 bottles, and her father Li Kaishan 2 bottles. Brother, you can accompany Dad to drink a little, only 2 bottles of wine, you can't get drunk. Li Xiaoyu said sweetly. Li Kunlun glanced at his sister. The upper body is a simple white shirt, and the lower body is navy blue jeans, making the legs extraordinarily slender. With a youthful and beautiful appearance, clean brows and eyes, no makeup, naturally fair skin, with a high ponytail. As far as Li Xiaoyu's appearance and figure are concerned, in a peaceful age, she is definitely a female star. In today's troubled times, Li Xiaoyu, as the only person in the Li family who possesses martial arts talent, worked hard and finally became a trainee martial artist. Musha, enjoy high status, but also shoulder heavy responsibilities. All over the world, ferocious beasts ravaged. The warriors need to leave the survival base city, go to the hunting area, and fight the beasts. As the eldest son of the family, Li Kunlun is of course extremely unwilling to have no talent in martial arts. It's a pity that the reality is cruel, there is no martial arts talent, and there is no possibility of cultivation. Sister, how many kilograms of power can you punch now? Li Kunlun asked as he poured a bottle of wine for his father. Li Xiaoyu's eyes were bright, and he tilted his head and replied, the minimum standard for a trainee martial artist is to hit a 1,000 kilograms force with 1 punch on a boxing target machine. This time I tested a trainee martial artist, and my strength reached 1398 kg. Big brother, you always bullied me when you were young, but now you can't beat me. Li Xiaoyu showed her little tiger teeth, raised her pink fist, and threatened her big brother. 1398 kg. Li Kunlun sucked in a breath of cold air. Although he was already familiar with the evaluation of the martial artist system in his heart, Li Kunlun was still shocked when he knew his sister's achievements. How can a delicate and thin body burst out with strength comparable to that of a bear and tiger? Is this martial arts? It's hard to imagine. Li Kunlun shook his head, full of emotion. My little sister has grown up, so I can't beat her. After all, he poured himself a beer. What are you talking about? It's dinner, it's dinner. Mother Li, who was busy in the kitchen, served the last dish beef hot pot. Son, light up the stove. Mother Li was standing at the dining table with a beef pot. Li Kunlun got up quickly, took out a lighter, and lit it on the solid alcohol stove. Snapped. The flames rose and spread along the solid alcohol. Li Kunlun was slow to pick up his hands, and the flames caught his fingers. Ding! Congratulations to the host, the system is successfully bound. The host has just fired the pot, and the cells have come into contact with the flame and have evolved fire resistance LV1 and fire control ability LV1. Immediately, a slightly warm current flowed through his body. Li Kunlun froze for a moment. System beep. Cell evolution. I bind the system. All sorts of thoughts came flooding in. Order a hot pot, why are you in a daze? Mother Li gave her son a white look and put the beef hot pot on the shelf of the old-fashioned solid alcohol stove. Okay, let's eat, and have a taste of how the cooking is today. Li Kunlun sat back in his chair, thinking about the meal that was already in front of him. He wanted to try his system. Mother Li gave Li Xiaoyu beef, smiling, and proudly said, Xiaoyu, eat more and grow stronger. Apprentice martial artist, you are the pride of our Li family now. Mom, I've passed the time to grow my strength by eating meat. If you really have to eat meat to grow your strength, then you have to eat the meat of ferocious beasts. Li Xiaoyu said, still happily handing over the bowl and catching the meat from Mother Li. Li Kaishan started drinking with Li Kunlun and opened the chat. Xiaoyu, the apprentice martial artist has just started, and there are formal martial artists and more powerful martial artists behind. Martial arts has a long way to go. You must persevere in order to go further. Mother Li murmured. When Xiao becomes an official martial artist, our faces will be brighter, and we can go to the office to get a martial artist subsidy every month. In the face of his parents' warning, Li Xiaoyu nodded and agreed. Li Kunlun thought about it and asked, to become a full-fledged martial artist, is there still an exam? You must have hunted beasts. What is a warrior? Only after fighting and being tempered by battle can you be called a warrior. The difference between a trainee warrior and an official warrior is a real battle, a battle between life and death. A worry flashed in Li Xiaoyu's eyes, and he quickly hid it again. There will be a formal martial artist exam in a few days, and I am going to take it. Li Kunlun frowned. Will it be too hasty? Li Xiaoyu shook his head and said, I heard that this official martial artist exam will be visited by the senior management of the Thunder Martial Arts Hall. There are rumors among my classmates that the Thunder Martial Arts Academy will attract fresh blood and select a batch of seed players. This is a once-in-a-lifetime opportunity. Thunder Martial Arts. Li Kunlun raised his eyebrows. No wonder my sister was so moved that she was even willing to take the risk. Thunder Martial Arts Hall is one of the 3 major martial arts halls in China. Lei Hong, who founded the Thunder Martial Arts Academy, is one of the top 10 powerhouses in the world. How many warriors broke their heads and wanted to enter the Thunder Martial Arts Hall? As long as you go in, let alone become a martial artist. Wuzong is not a dream. But the death rate in the official martial artist exam is not low. Li's father and Li's mother also fell into contemplation and entanglement. They hope that their daughter can become a formal martial artist, but they don't want her daughter to rush to the forefront and fight against the beasts. Li Xiaoyu's eyes were firm, and he said loudly, Mom and Dad, Big Brother, I have made up my mind, this time the official martial artist exam, I must go. Li Kunlun said seriously, Sister, I will help you. Li Xiaoyu looked at her big brother and smiled. Thank you, Big Brother, with your support, I will be able to successfully pass the official martial artist exam. Li Kunlun secretly clenched his fists. He knew that his sister thought he was joking. After all, the gap between ordinary people and warriors is really too big, the gap is ordinary. The minimum punch of a martial artist can hit 1,000 kilograms, how much can an ordinary person hit with one punch? But Li Xiaoyu didn't expect that Li Kunlun was serious. I must become a martial artist and help my sister pass the official martial artist exam. After dinner, Li Kunlun went back to his room. The system prompt sounded again. The host breathes for a long time, and the cells evolve again, gaining the ability to control the air LV1, control the wind LV1. Li Kunlun was startled. Can breathing also evolve? Li Kunlun took a deep breath and let it out slowly. He sensed the change in himself, as if he could control every wisp of air around him, and then make it flow, becoming wind. Wind control. Li Kunlun spread out his palms and clasped his fingers slightly. Following a hidden instinct, the surrounding air gathered, forming a whirlwind in the palm of his hand. This is only a level 1 wind control, and it does not achieve much destructive power. So that's the case, is this the royal qi and wind control? Li Kunlun clenched his fists so hard that he broke the whirlwind in his palms. Although this imperial qi is not the qi among warriors, it is equally powerful at a higher level. Just imagine, the level of imperial qi and wind control is high. Air flying, wave a tornado, what's more, directly evacuating a range of air, suffocating the enemy to death. Li Kunlun took out the lighter again. Press the button of the lighter, and a flame rises. Li Kunlun stared at the flame of the lighter. Control the fire. Li Kunlun's eyes widened, and the flames on the lighter suddenly shot up. The flames moved at will, surrounding Li Kunlun's palm, and gathered into a fireball the size of a ping-pong ball. Turn off the lighter, the flame slowly disappears. It turns out that I can control the flame, but I can't create a flame out of thin air. Li Kunlun thought silently. System, how can cells evolve the ability to create flames? The system prompts. Ding, answer the host. The cells come into contact with life forms that can create flames, and naturally they can evolve the ability to produce flames. Can you evolve even by touching living organisms? Li Kunlun's eyes suddenly lit up, and he had a plan in his heart. Although I have no talent for martial arts, my cells can evolve automatically, and my achievements are not necessarily lower than those of a martial artist. More importantly, I don't need to practice. You don't need to cultivate yourself. Cells can evolve on their own. How cool is it? Lee Kunlun made up his mind about the pictures of him coming into contact with various beasts and evolving various abilities. Stealth, fire breathing, lightning, flying. What will be the endpoint of cell evolution in the end? A word appeared in Lee Kunlun's heart. God. Eating and drinking water, contacting beasts, you can evolve, it's not too cool. Lee Kunlun was eager to leave the city immediately and go to the hunting area outside the life-base city to touch the beast. Of course, Lee Kunlun did not float away. If you want to get in touch with the beasts, if your strength is not enough, you will only give food to the beasts. By the way, there is another question: how can I improve my ability? For example, when the pot was fired just now, the cells evolved fire resistance and fire control ability, but it was only level 1. How can I break through to level 2, level 3, or even higher? The system prompt replied. Ding, the host needs to constantly contact the flame with higher temperature, and the cells can evolve to a higher level. Exposure to hotter flames. Lee Kunlun thought for a while, then asked, what would happen if I jumped into the sun? Did the cells evolve a super high fire type ability? The flame temperature of an ordinary alcohol pot is only a few hundred degrees. And the temperature of the sun's surface alone has reached 5,500 degrees Celsius. As for the central temperature of the sun, it even reached 20 million degrees Celsius. For Lee Kunlun's hypothesis, the system gave the answer. Ding, with the host's current cell strength, if it is close to the sun, it will only be burned to ashes. Lee Kunlun frowned. Can't cells evolve? The system replied. Ding, evolution is a gradual process, not overnight. Lee Kunlun got it. Evolution must be carried out under conditions that it can withstand. Jump into the sun and cells still evolve. But before it evolved enough to withstand the heat of the sun, Lee Kunlun was reduced to ashes. Keep your feet on the ground, take your time. Now that I can evolve by eating and drinking, what more can I ask for? I can't imagine that I can go to the sky in one step. Lee Kunlun knows contentment, not blind expansion. My sister is now a trainee martial artist. I don't know if my cells will evolve if she contacts Shiau. Lee Kunlun had a whim. For the rest of my life, I want the wild grass to keep popping out. Looking at it now, Lee Shiau, a trainee martial artist, is the most powerful one in the Lee family. And martial artists also belong to the category of life. Will the cells evolve after contact? Lee Kunlun went to Lee Shiau immediately. Wait a moment. How to contact my sister in an open and honest way is a problem. Lee Kunlun stood still. Although she is a younger sister who grew up together, Lee Kunlun has little close contact with Lee Shiau now. You can't say it directly, sister, let me hug you and hold your little hand. I'm afraid my old man will send me to orthopedics. Correct. Lee Kunlun's eyes lit up and he took out a small lucky bag from the cabinet. Just use this. Holding the lucky bag, Lee Kunlun left his room and knocked on his sister's door. Lee Shiau was sitting cross-legged on the futon, facing the night sky outside the window, with 5 hearts facing the sky, practicing the guidance method. This guiding method was created by wise people from all over the world after the world changed dramatically, combining the ancient method of Qi training and ancient yoga. It can make the human body with martial arts qualifications guide the power of heaven and earth and cosmic energy into the body and refine it into Qi. This is the root of the strength of the martial artist. Hearing Lee Kunlun knocking on the door, Lee Shiau adjusted her breathing and stopped the guidance method. Come in. Lee Kunlun pushed the door and entered. There was no light on in the room, and there was a faint fragrance of a girl. A pure girl with a ponytail sitting cross-legged on a futon. In the moonlight, Lee Shiau's fair cheeks looked particularly beautiful. If it weren't for the status of a trainee martial artist, who would have thought that this slim girl just turned 16 this year? Big brother. Lee Shiau stared at Lee Kunlun. In terms of appearance, Lee Kunlun is not inferior to his sister Lee Shiau. However, Lee Shiau belongs to the first sight that can make people shine. Lee Kunlun participated in the construction of the city defense, and was exposed to the wind and the sun. Naturally, he was less handsome and more masculine. Lee Kunlun smelled the aroma of her sister's room, coughed lightly, and said, "What, Shiau, aren't you going to take the official martial artist exam in a few days?" Lee Shiau hummed. "No, Big Brother specially prepared a talisman for you and gave it to you. I wish you a safe life and successfully pass the official martial artist exam." Li Kunlun looked solemn, and solemnly put the small blessing bag in Li Xiaoyu's hand. Before waiting for his sister to react, he grabbed her little hand again. "Younger sister A. Brother, big brother." The younger sister looked at her big brother a little bewildered. Li Kunlun didn't hear the sound of the system prompt, so he had to continue delaying the time, holding on to Li Xiaoyu's little hand. "Sister, do you really want to take the official martial artist exam this time? The time is too short, you need more time to precipitate, sharpen your actual combat, and accumulate experience." Li Kunlun anxiously waited for the system prompt, and said worriedly, "Being a big brother, don't worry about you." Li Xiaoyu let Li Kunlun hold hands, her pretty face flushed slightly in the dark night. "Brother, I'm no longer a child. What I do is actually very clear. Besides, the opportunity of the Thunder Martial Art Museum, I must not miss it." Li Xiaoyu's eyes full of aura became bright and very firm. "I want my parents, and my big brother, to live a good life. I heard that as long as you become an official member of the Thunder Martial Arts Museum, you can let your loved ones move to the #1 human survival base. That place is known as the safest base city in the country and even in the world." Li Xiaoyu's heartfelt voice moved Li Kunlun. A warm current flows in Li Kunlun's heart. At this time, the system prompt sounded. "Ding, the host has come into contact with the warrior, the cells have evolved, and the physical fitness has been improved fivefold." Li Kunlun immediately felt hot all over. Cells throughout the body are rapidly metabolizing, evolving and becoming stronger. Skin cells, muscle cells, blood cells, organ cells. All kinds of cells are enhanced in all directions. The changes brought to Li Kunlun are also earth-shaking. Strength, speed, neural response, vision, hearing, endurance and more. All 5 times higher. This is an unimaginable leap. For Li Kunlun, he seems to have changed from an ordinary person to a warrior with extraordinary power. Li Kunlun's heart beat faster and patted his sister's palm. "Xiaoyu, don't worry, I will accompany you in the official martial artist exam." After a few more casual chats, Li Kunlun took the opportunity to return to his room. Li Xiaoyu sat cross-legged on the futon, looked down at the little fortune bag that was a little old in the palm of his hand, put it on his heart, and smiled slightly. "Big brother, you've always been by my side. ... After Li Kunlun returned to the room, he paced back and forth excitedly. "I feel like I have power in my body right now. Is this the strength of a warrior?" Li Kunlun clenched his fists, and his muscles were like a horned dragon, and they moved with it. The power is contained in the arms, gathering but not emitting. He now feels that if he punches out, he can kill a cow. It's a pity that there is no boxing target, otherwise Li Kunlun would like to try it now, whether he has met the standard of a trainee martial artist. Li Kunlun's heart pounded, and he asked from the bottom of his heart, "System, if I come into contact with King Wu or even Emperor Wu, can I also become King Wu or Emperor Wu directly?" The system prompts. "Ding, answer the host. According to the training system that scans this planet, the strength of King Wu and Emperor Wu is not physical fitness, but the strength of qi. Martial arts are not simply body refinement. The more you go to the later practice, the more important it becomes to practice qi. In addition, if you want the host's current cells to evolve to the level of King Wu and Emperor Wu, it will take a long time to contact them." After listening to the system's explanation, Li Kunlun was not too disappointed. It was completely what he expected. "Anyway, I don't know such giants as King Wu and Emperor Wu." Li Kunlun just wanted to ask a question to confirm the conjecture in his heart. Sure enough, you can't make a fat man in one bite. In the dead of night and the parents went to bed, Li Kunlun ran to the kitchen and turned on the gas stove. Facing the flames of the gas stove, Li Kunlun hesitated, and slowly drew his palms closer. The temperature of the outer flame of the gas stove is about 1300 degrees Celsius to 1400 degrees Celsius. Fortunately, Li Kunlun's cells have evolved fire resistance, and they can also withstand the burning of gas stove flames. Ding, when the host cell comes into contact with the flame, it evolves fire resistance LV2 and fire control ability LV2. After raising the fire resistance and fire control ability to level 2, Li Kunlun went back to his room to sleep. The next day, early in the morning, Father Li called Li Kunlun up and went to work on the defensive barriers in Dongcheng district. Li Kunlun didn't want to go, and was afraid of his father's worries, so he took the bus to Dongcheng together. Fortunately, Li Kunlun and Li Kaishan have different positions. Li Kaishan is the master of manipulating the pendant. Li Kunlun is responsible for the transportation of steel and other items. He was going to wait for Li Kaishan to go to work, and then go to the leader of the group to ask for a leave, and then start the journey of cell evolution. In a few days, my sister Li Xiaoyu's official martial artist exam will be held. Li Kunlun prepares himself to become a trainee martial artist in just a few days, taking the official martial artist exam with his sister. Arriving at the defensive barriers of Dongcheng district, looking up, it looks like a steel cliff that is even grander than the ancient city wall. Incredibly spectacular. At the top of the defensive barriers, there are also hanging towers. On weekdays, these pendants will all operate, continuing to raise and reinforce defensive barriers. Li Kunlun took out his badge, went through security with his father, and then took the super elevator to the upper level of the defensive barrier. Overlooking through the elevator, at the level far away from the city, a hunting team composed of warriors has already left the life-based city. Well-equipped hunting party, powerful warrior. There are even armored vehicles reinforced to the level of tanks. And more advanced exoskeleton mechs. Before the martial artist was promoted to a higher level, the power of technological weapons was still very powerful. Therefore, these warriors will try their best to arm themselves to the teeth when they go out to hunt fierce beasts. Those who really dare to go into battle lightly are either courting death or absolute powerhouses. As the elevator rose rapidly, the scenery regressed. Soon, the row upon row of survival-based cities became smaller in Li Kunlun's eyes. Li's father said, "Every day overlooking this city, I always sigh at the incredibleness of human beings." Li Kunlun's eyes flickered and he said in a low voice, "After the great destruction, the weak human beings still stand firm in the wave of destruction and rise again. Ferocious beasts, after all, can't become a cage that shackles us." Ding! The super elevator stopped. The elevator door opened, and a violent gust of wind poured in frantically. Li Kunlun, Father Li, and other workers in the elevator have long been accustomed to this kind of wind. After all, it is at a height of hundreds of meters, and it is normal for the wind to be strong. "I'll go to the tower first, and go home after get off work." Father Li patted Li Kunlun on the shoulder and turned away. Li Kunlun stood in the wind, and his work clothes blew wildly. There are not only construction teams, but also the army of the base city guarding and erecting anti-aircraft guns. You know, the defensive fortress is Dongcheng's lifeline of defense. Once the defensive fort is broken by the beast, Dongcheng's tens of millions of ordinary people will be exposed to the minions of the beast. I'd better go to the leader to ask for leave. I don't know if blowing at such a high place can make cells evolve. Li Kunlun went to his post. Don't look at this as a steel city wall. In fact, the top of the defensive bastion walls was incomparably wide. Due to different construction progress and other reasons, the defensive fortresses in each block of Dongcheng are of different heights. The defensive barrier area B of Dongcheng district, where Li Kunlun is located, is 280 meters high and 130 meters wide. No less than a magnificent steel building. At this height alone, even if there is a commander-level fierce beast technique, it is impossible to break through the defensive barriers. According to Li Kunlun's understanding, the beasts are from weak to strong, in order. Low-level beasts, intermediate-level beasts, high-level beasts, elite-level beasts, commander-level beasts, monarch-level beasts, emperor-level beasts, and finally god-level beasts. Corresponding warrior levels. Warrior apprentice, formal warrior, warrior, general, warrior, king, emperor, god. The difference between apprentice warriors and formal warriors is whether they have actual combat experience in hunting fierce beasts. For warriors, actual combat experience is extremely important. No matter how strong the practice and the more theoretical knowledge, if you encounter a beast and your mind goes blank, it will be no different from an ordinary person. The result is a direct death to the mouth of the beast. Only those who have truly experienced the baptism of the blood of beasts can be called a formal martial artist. Li Kunlun blew a violent astral wind, and the cells really evolved again. The level of air control and wind control has risen to LV2. You can evolve even when the wind blows. Cool. Lee Kunlun is in a good mood. However, in order to continue to improve the wind control ability, I am afraid that it will have to withstand more violent winds, or even hurricanes. The foreman was driving the forklift. It's too early. Lee Kunlun stepped forward and said, Brother Zhao, I want to take a leave of absence. The foreman stopped the forklift, and said jokingly, Yo, your kid is finally in love. 365 days a year, it's really rare to see your kid asking for leave or taking a break. Lee Kunlun shook his head and said, I'm not in a relationship, but there are indeed more important things than dating. The foreman said, Hurry up and talk, you understand the general environment now, get married early. Many men your age are married at 18. Look at me, now I have 2 children. Lee Kunlun teased. No wonder you are so hardworking, Brother Zhao. Okay, let's get down to business, I want to take a 4-day leave. 4 days off is no nonsense from Lee Kunlun. He had calculated that the official martial artist exam would be 3 days later. The official martial artist exam is not only about hunting down beasts, but also spending a night in a beast town. In other words, Lee Kunlun did take 4 days off. 4 days. Brother Zhao frowned. Kunlun, it's not that I didn't give you approval. The construction schedule is tight now, and you know it. We do this job well. Although the salary is high, it is hard, tiring, dangerous, and not free. I'm afraid I won't be able to approve the 4-day leave. Lee Kunlun was not surprised. Lee Kunlun and his father did it because of the high salary of the job. After all, my sister Lee Shiau set foot on the martial arts, and the expenses were very high. As the old saying goes, it is not unreasonable for the poor to study and the rich to practice martial arts. It really doesn't work, I'll resign. Anyway, I will definitely not be able to come to work for the past 4 days. Please bear with me if I trouble Brother Zhao. Lee Kunlun clenched his fists. The foreman sighed. I don't know why you are so important, you can quit your job. But I heard that your sister has become a trainee martial artist. In the future, the family expenses will be smaller, and the pressure on your family will also be reduced a lot. Well, I'll try my best to help you, but I can't help you if you don't come down. Thanks. Oh yes, don't tell my dad about asking for leave, I'll tell him later. Lee Kunlun waved his hand and turned to leave. Immediately, Lee Kunlun took the super elevator down and left the defensive barrier. I can't touch ferocious beasts now, but I can touch ordinary creatures in the base city. If you can touch the electric eel, of course it's the best. Electric eels can discharge electricity. If Lee Kunlun could touch electric eels, cells could definitely evolve the ability to discharge. It's a pity, now because of the beasts everywhere. Especially in the sea, there are many fierce beasts, so the aquatic products have dropped sharply. Lee Kunlun also went for a walk in the vegetable market with the idea of trying his luck. Sure enough, no electric eel was found. Lee Kunlun is targeting other creatures again. Apart from electric eels, the first thing that comes to mind is the most common and inconspicuous ants. Ant, let's see what surprises you can give me. Lee Kunlun caught one of the ants crawling on the ground and put it in the palm of his hand. After a while, the system prompt sounded. Ding, you come into contact with ants, cells evolve, and you gain 100-fold increase in strength. Ding, warm reminder, the evolution of host cell power exceeds physical fitness, please use it with caution. 100-fold increase in power. This surprise is really big. That is Lee Kunlun's current strength, multiplied by 100 times. Lee Kunlun's physical fitness is similar to that of a trainee martial artist. Assuming that Lee Kunlun's original strength is 1,000 kilograms, if it explodes a 100-fold increase in strength, that is 100,000 kilograms. The physical fitness of the apprentice martial artist hit a super punch of 100,000 kilograms. I am afraid that after hitting the object, his fist and arm will definitely be destroyed. Lee Kunlun was not unhappy. After all, something is better than nothing. 100-fold increase in strength was his first trump card. With a 100-fold increase in strength, I can punch a 100,000 kilograms super punch. Let's just call this a 100,000-ton punch. Lee Kunlun's second full thought. There is a strange kind of life on this planet. They are small and unremarkable. They are numerous and distributed all over the world. They have evolved. extraordinary functions that ordinary creatures do not have, and are even beyond reach. Fleas can jump up to 150 times their own height. Dung beetles can push dung balls that are 1,000 times their own weight. Cockroaches, which have survived since ancient times, can miraculously survive a nuclear explosion without dying. There are many such creatures. For example, the sparrow-tailed mantis shrimp can punch sonic punches. Highly poisonous poison dart frogs, thin-scaled taipan snakes, and box jellyfish. The axolotl can regenerate more complex organs, even the brain. There is even the most tenacious water bear, the lighthouse jellyfish that claims to be able to rejuvenate and immortalize. Of course, these weird creatures are out of Lee Kunlun's reach. In this base city lined with high-rise buildings, insects, cats and dogs are the easiest to find. Lee Kunlun simply went straight to the pet market. Touch the snake, and the cells have evolved super sensing. Touch the chameleon, the cell has evolved the ability to mimic. Touch a dog, and cells evolve a super sense of smell. Touch the cat, get night vision, and improve the speed of neural response. After a circle, Lee Kunlun's cells have been greatly improved. Ding! Congratulations to the host, the degree of cell evolution has reached the 4th stage of the life level, and it has become a 4th-order life form. For specific information, you can open the Properties panel to view. With a thought, Lee Kunlun checked his attribute panel. A pale gold, translucent attribute panel, projected on Lee Kunlun's retina. Lee Kunlun. Race. Human. Gender. Male. Talent. Cell evolution. Life level. Level 4. Abilities. Fire resistance LV2, fire control ability LV2, air control LV2, wind control ability LV2, night vision, heat sensing ability, 100-fold increase in strength, super sense of smell. Lee Kunlun asked inwardly, System, what does a 4th-order life form mean? The system prompts. A 4th-order life form, roughly described, is similar to an intermediate-level beast. First-order life forms are primitive single-celled organisms, they are confused and have only survival instincts. Second-order life forms have become multicellular organisms, with plants at the low level and ants at the high level, with simple thinking, perception. The most important thing for a third-order life body is to be able to think independently, to have the perception of three-dimensional space, and to be creative. Fourth-order life forms have power beyond ordinary life forms. The system is briefly introduced. According to the understanding of the system, it is more complicated and difficult to understand. To put it simply, the comprehensive ability can challenge the intermediate-level beasts. So that's the case. In this way, I have a little more confidence in the official martial artist exam. Lee Kunlun touched his chin. Now, I can go to the Martial Artists Association to test my level. To become a trainee martial artist is extremely simple. Just go to the Warrior Association to register your identity and pay the registration fee. Then on the boxing target machine, hit the force of more than 1,000 kg. Relatively speaking, becoming an official martial artist is more difficult and more formal. In the world, no one has a dream of becoming a warrior. Every year, the Martial Artist Association makes a lot of money from the registration fee of the apprentice martial artist. Lee Kunlun took a taxi to the Warrior Association. A dome-shaped building resembling a super stadium is located in the city center of Zhongcheng. There is a lot of traffic here, and the flow is endless. Around the white dome building is a flat and open square, where people come and go, which is very lively. After Lee Kunlun paid for the car, he entered the Warrior Association with ease. The day before yesterday, my sister Lee Shiau participated in the apprentice martial arts assessment, and it was Lee Kunlun who accompanied her. Unexpectedly, after a day, he himself would be able to participate in the assessment of the apprentice martial artist. In one day, Lee Kunlun has grown from an ordinary person to a warrior. The registration fee is 1,000 yuan. From the self-service check-in machine, a pleasant female voice came out. Lee Kunlun took out his ID card, swiped it, and deducted the registration fee of 1,000 yuan. Really expensive, Lee Kunlun whispered. The apprentice martial artist assessment is basically self-service, and I don't know how much labor costs have been saved, and the fees are still so expensive. A clear female voice came from the self-service check-in machine. Hello, please confirm the fingerprint and iris of the examiner. Lee Kunlun pressed his own fingerprints. He leaned forward again and asked the self-service check-in machine to collect his iris information. After confirming that it is correct, the self-service check-in machine spit out a white note. The note indicated which district Lee Kunlun could go to, and which number of punching target machines could be tested. The number 24 boxing target in the D area, the number of people in line is 15. Every day, I don't know where so many people come to conduct the assessment test of the apprentice martial artist. Lee Kunlun shook his head and followed the signs in the self-service hall to lead to Area D. A boxing target machine is placed in the open space in the D area. In front of each boxing target machine, there are also examiners lining up. There will be staff invigilators next to the test to prevent the other party from cheating. In the whole area, the sound of bang 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 punching can be heard endlessly. Lee Kunlun came to the number 24 punching target. There were more than 10 people lining up in front. The staff patiently said, "In the test, the left fist and the right fist are optional, 3 chances, and the highest value of the 3 results will be taken." Lee Kunlun waited patiently, and found that the few people in front of him failed. Most of the punches punched are around a few hundred kilograms, and they have not reached the passing line of 1,000 kilograms. Seeing that they all failed, Lee Kunlun, who was originally calm, couldn't help but get nervous. "It's your turn." The staff spoke to Lee Kunlun. Lee Kunlun walked over, stood in front of the boxing target machine, and verified his identity again to avoid cheating in the exam. After confirming that it is correct, start the examination. First chance. Lee Kunlun took a deep breath, looked at the punching target in front of him, and clenched his fists. Seeing this, the staff secretly shook their heads. At first glance, Lee Kunlun's posture is wrong. He belongs to a layman who has never practiced martial arts. However, there are too many people who think they are strong every day and want to try it out, and the staff have long been accustomed to it. He just needs to do his job well. Lee Kunlun's eyes narrowed, swept away hesitation and nervousness, and threw a punch. Bama! With the dull sound, Lee Kunlun slammed a solid punch on the punching target machine. Ding ding ding. On the display screen of the punching target machine, the numbers are constantly flipping. It makes a pleasant sound, like falling gold coins. Lee Kunlun raised his head a little nervously, found the numbers on the display, and finally stopped at 1,987 kilograms. Much higher than his sister Lee Xiaoyu's grades. The staff rubbed their eyes, dumbfounded. In his eyes, the layman actually achieved a score that surpassed the passing line of the apprentice martial artist. The examiners who queued up at the back either gasped, or exclaimed, or were envious. 1,987 kilograms, good guy, it directly meets the standard of a trainee martial artist. Congratulations to that handsome guy, he is a trainee martial artist from today. Envy, it looks like a young man, becoming a martial artist, the future is limitless. Lee Kunlun turned his head to look at the staff and asked, "There are 2 more chances, right?" The staff hurriedly recorded Lee Kunlun's first result, nodded and said, "Yes, you still have 2 chances." "It is good." Lee Kunlun shook his head, twisted his wrists, and moved his muscles a little. Every joint of the body made a crisp, crackling sound. It can be seen that Lee Kunlun's muscles exposed outside his clothes are like vigorous and powerful horned dragons, which bulge and emerge with his movements, showing their strength. Generally speaking, the first result of the boxing target machine will be the highest of the 3 chances. After all, the momentum is like a tiger in one go, and then it declines, and 3 times it is exhausted. There is no shortage of follow-up efforts, and they have achieved good results. Look, anyway, his current grades are stable as a trainee martial artist. Many examiners focus their attention on Lee Kunlun. There are not no apprentice warriors born in the Warrior Association every day. However, among the same batch of appraisers, there are very few who have become apprentices. They sometimes pin their hopes on others and then motivate themselves. Lee Kunlun took a deep breath and clenched his fists again. This time, Lee Kunlun is ready to use tenfold increase in strength. 100 times the strength increase, one punch is a huge force of 100,000 kilograms. Regardless of whether the boxing target machine can withstand it, Lee Kunlun estimates that his fists and arms will definitely be abolished. So, Lee Kunlun is ready to try a tenfold increase in power. The staff watched Lee Kunlun closely. Bad posture. The force is not right. The waist is useless. The so-called long-term illness became a doctor. He had seen a lot of boxing strength tests of those who entered the martial arts, and he knew how to use the power technique. In the eyes of the layman of the staff, Lee Kunlun's punching movements are full of loopholes, and he has never learned martial arts at all. But it is such a person, why can he play a power comparable to a trainee martial artist? Probably natural power, the staff thought to themselves. The next moment, the staff member's pupils contracted. The second punch, only the second punch, Lee Kunlun gradually mastered the correct force technique. The feet, waist, and spine are adjusted slowly, and finally integrated into one, and the strength of the limbs and bones are mobilized together. How come? The staff has 100,000 whys in their hearts. How did he know that Lee Kunlun did not learn martial arts? However, after the evolution of Lee Kunlun's cells, the control and regulation of the body has become extremely delicate. Just like a cat, no matter what position it falls from a height, it can always adjust its body and land its limbs smoothly. This is Lee Kunlun's instinct to evolve into a fourth-order life form. Optimum use of the body. However, Lee Kunlun threw the second punch with a fierce momentum, like a lion Su Sheng, and threw it out. Boom! A deafening roar exploded with a large white air wave. The fist with a 10-fold increase in strength hit the punching target heavily. The numbers on the display, in thousands, were beating wildly. Ding 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 ding. When the numbers stop, the punching power measured by the punching target machine is displayed as 23,108 kilograms. Hiss. Everyone, including the staff, took a deep breath. The jaw dropped on the spot. 20,000 kilograms of punching power, this is already the strength standard of a martial artist, right? Too strong. In today's apprentice martial arts assessment, I encountered a monster with a 20,000 kilogram force. Dude, I seriously suspect he's pretending to be a pig and eating a tiger. Could it be that he is a martial artist who came to the novice village to pretend to be B? Everyone opened the pot and talked a lot. The staff shook his head and said, "Impossible, the system is entered, he is a newcomer and there is no martial artist registration." Cow, I've taken it. Old Iron 6666. If he wants to start a live broadcast, I will definitely send a rocket. It's really inspirational, this person is probably just waiting for a blockbuster today. The people around made a sound of admiration. Lee Kunlun retracted his fist and shook his palm. The punching power of only 20,000 kilograms not only shocked the punching target machine. His fist was also numb from the shock, and his entire arm was almost dislocated. If this really breaks out a 100-fold increase in strength, my arm will be scrapped if it is not properly preserved. Lee Kunlun thought to himself. He seemed extremely calm to the shock of the crowd. The 20,000 kilogram boxing power was completely within his expectations. The staff swallowed a mouthful of saliva and asked, "You have a third chance?" Lee Kunlun nodded and delivered a third punch. 2,183 kilograms. Compared with the results of the second time, the third punch seems sparse and ordinary. However, the results of the second boxing test are shocking enough. After the 3 punches, Lee Kunlun asked, "Am I a trainee martial artist now?" The staff nodded with respect in their eyes. "Sir, please come with me. After registering as a martial artist, you will be a trainee martial artist from today." A trainee martial artist with 20,000 punches. The beauty at the registration desk raised her eyes and glanced at Lee Kunlun in shock. "Excuse me, sir, there is a formal martial artist exam recently, do you want to sign up for it?" "Sign up." Lee Kunlun nodded without hesitation. "Okay, the registration for the official martial artist exam is free, and I will register it for you now. This is the registration instructions, you can take it back and take a look." The beauty at the registration office passed out a pamphlet through the window. There was also a business card on the booklet, named Zhao Lulu. "This is..." Lee Kunlun glanced suspiciously at the beauty at the registration desk. Zhao Lulu blushed and explained in a low voice, "This is my business card with my contact information on it. I get off work at 6 p.m. If you have any questions, Mr. Lee, you can contact me." Lee Kunlun was startled, nodded knowingly, and put the business card in his pocket. "Take the manual, turn around and leave." The booklet wrote the time, place and precautions for the official martial artist exam. It may be to reduce the death rate of apprentice martial artists, even in the booklet, what kind of beasts are in the beast town. The specific information of the beast, including weight, height, habits, and weaknesses, is very comprehensive. After all, the meaning of the existence of the ferocious beast town is to let the trainees have the actual combat experience with the fierce beasts, and let them experience the tempering of life and death. It's not that these apprentices are really going to die. It is not easy to train every apprentice martial artist. Black-scaled one-horned python, steel knife bull, shadow demon cat, corrosive dog, explosive arrow porcupine. Li Kunlun's word-by-word reading manual. He kept all the beasts in the beast town in his heart. Fortunately, these vicious beasts are all low-level vicious beasts, not a single medium-level vicious beast. There is a dilapidated town surrounded by the military with a super high-voltage power grid. There will be martial arts or military powerhouses who will capture some low-level beasts from time to time and throw them into the beast town to survive. Then let the trainee warriors who took the test enter the ferocious beast town to experience and become a real warrior. You know, the hunting area is 10 times more dangerous than the beast town. In the hunting area, there is no surveillance, no army guards, and no area full of low-level vicious beasts. Not to mention low-level vicious beasts, even intermediate-level vicious beasts and high-level vicious beasts may appear. After reading the manual, Li Kunlun sat on the bench outside the Warrior Association, closing his eyes and resting. 3 days, today is the first day, I want to use all the time and spend it on the edge. The primary consideration now is my attack method. The 100,000-ton punch is my trump card. It cannot be used unless it is a life-and-death crisis. After using it, the arm will be abolished. Even if I have touched a gecko and the cells have evolved the ability to regenerate, it is only a level 1 regeneration ability. With the regeneration ability of LV1, I don't know how much time it will take to grow an arm again. I haven't stepped into martial arts, so martial arts exercises are obviously not feasible for me. The price of bullets and guns is too expensive. With my savings, I can't buy much. All the money in the family bought equipment for my sister Li Shiau. Warrior equipment is very expensive. In that case, we have to find another way. After thinking about it, Li Kunlun could only focus on fire control. To control a fire, you must first create a flame. The temperature of an ordinary lighter is obviously not enough. At least a windproof lighter. With a butane-fueled lighter, the flame temperature can reach 1,300 degrees Celsius. I will use the power of the air to create an oxygen-enriched environment to support combustion, which can increase the flame temperature again to 2,000 or 3,000 degrees. A flame of 2,000 or 3,000 degrees is terrifying enough. At that time, using the ability to control fire may not be a powerful attack method. Li Kunlun does what he thinks. I took a taxi, went to Zhongcheng's shopping mall, and bought a bunch of lighters. He buys a cheap lighter first to practice his hand. That kind of very good flip lighters are very expensive, costing thousands of dollars at every turn. Li Kunlun also bought a few spares. After buying the lighter, Li Kunlun did not dare to go home and try it. Afraid of accidentally burning the sheets and curtains at home, Li Kunlun found a barren open space to practice. Holding the lighter, turn it around the 5 fingers of one hand. It's like turning a pen when I was a kid. After a few turns, Li Kunlun threw his palm forward and pressed the button of the lighter at the same time. Control the fire. Call. The flame from the nozzle of the lighter instantly turned into a line of fire, burning forward. It has to burn more vigorously. Li Kunlun raised his other hand and pushed it towards the palm holding the lighter. Royal air. Boom. The addition of abundant oxygen almost made this line of fire detonate, and the fire increased several times in an instant. The flame burns purer, more vigorous, and hotter. In this scene, there is more or less the feeling of a supernatural teenager practicing his own fire power. It's just the beginning, but it's new, mysterious, inconceivable, delightful, and wants to shout. Success. Li Kunlun said happily. The rest is how to make this step more handsome and more skilled. Li Kunlun took a cheap lighter and tried it again and again. In this barren open space, a fire burst from time to time, burning in the air. The sky gradually darkened. It's almost time for Father Li to get off work. Li Kunlun decided to try the power of a butane gas lighter. He found an iron pipe and put it on the ground. Delicate and gorgeous flip lighter, twist a few turns in Lee Kunlun's fingers. With a ding sound, the flip of the lighter opened. Lee Kunlun waved his palm forward, and a fiery stream of fire spewed out and burned towards the iron pipe. The high temperature and light brightened the dim surroundings all at once. Hoo. The fire burned, and the high temperature of 2,000 or 3,000 degrees immediately turned the iron pipe red. After the iron pipe burned red, the color began to change towards blazing yellow. Slowly, the hard iron pipe began to melt, turning into a stream of iron juice flowing on the ground. Lee Kunlun stopped fighting the air and controlling the fire, and looked at the pool of hot molten iron on the ground with satisfaction. Obviously, I am very satisfied with the power of this move. Unless it is a beast with high fire resistance, how can an ordinary beast withstand my flame? Lee Kunlun put away the hot lighter and turned to leave. Dongcheng District, Defensive Barriers. Lee Kunlun reunited with Lee's father, who was off work, and took the car back home. After a tiring day, the men came home and opened the door to see the woman cooking a table of good dishes. It felt that the hard work was worth it. Li Xiaoyu didn't go to the martial arts academy today. In fact, after she passed the apprentice martial artist assessment, she was able to graduate smoothly. Li Xiaoyu plans to stay at home to adjust his state and cultivate his true qi before taking the official martial artist exam. Dad, brother, you have worked hard, sit down and eat. Li Xiaoyu, the younger sister who helped Li Mu to serve the dishes, shouted sweetly. Li Kunlun and Li's father took a seat. Li Xiaoyu opened 2 more beers for them. Father Li smiled and said in surprise, "What happened to Xiaoyu these 2 days? I didn't want me to drink beer before." Li Xiaoyu gave Li's father a blank look, and said angrily, "If you don't drink it, I will drink it all for my big brother." "I drink, can't I drink?" Father Li hurriedly grabbed the bottle and prevented Li Xiaoyu from taking it away. Li Kunlun felt a little heavy in his heart. He knew why Li Xiaoyu was a little unusual these 2 days. The death rate in the official martial artist exam is already high. Li Xiaoyu just passed the apprentice martial artist exam, and then took the formal martial artist exam. It is estimated that she is a little out of her mind. There are still 2 days before the official martial artist exam. Entering the realm of the warrior, in addition to the strength reaching 1,000 kilograms, it is necessary to condense and exhale. Of course, the apprentice martial artist assessment does not test qi. Because of the martial artist realm, the qi is still very weak. Can't play a decisive role in battle. Like the martial artist assessment in the back, it will start to detect the amount of qi. To become a martial artist, one must condense the vortex of vaporization. And further, to become the standard of Wuzong is to fly with air. The generals need to collapse the vortex knot. Wu Zun must gather martial spirit. This is the cultivation method behind martial Dao. Every path is extremely difficult and extremely long. At present, Li Xiaoyu can only be down to earth, take 1 step at a time, practice the guidance method first, and then accumulate the true qi in the body. After dinner, Li Kunlun went to take a bath. Li Kunlun didn't go to work today, but he was actually walking around. He was busy all day and was quite tired. Soaked in the warm bathtub, Li Kunlun relaxed, pores stretched, and drowsiness appeared. After a while, the system prompt sounded again. Ding, the host is taking a bath, and the cells evolved to acquire the ability to breathe underwater. Li Kunlun, who was still a little sleepy at first, immediately recovered. Breathe underwater. Can you breathe underwater like a fish? Li Kunlun gave it a try right away. He fully submerged his head in the water, without deliberately holding his breath. Soon, Li Kunlun found that he was breathing in the water without any hindrance at all, so he didn't even need to think about holding his breath. It's amazing, I don't have gills, is it skin breathing? Li Kunlun tried to find a theoretical basis, but quickly gave up. The system is the most unscientific existence. Why try to explain the unknown with limited knowledge? There's something about breathing in this water, an ability that's great for swimming and bathing. Li Kunlun dives to the bottom again. He was soaked in warm water all over his body. After taking a shower, Li Kunlun returned to his room. He went on to try and do something to try and get the cells to evolve. Li Kunlun lay on the ground and started doing push-ups. 1, 2, 3. Li Kunlun kept raising and bending his arms, and quickly completed 100 push-ups. Ding, the host is doing push-ups, the cells are evolving, and the strength is increased by 500 grams. When Li Kunlun heard it, he found that doing push-ups can really promote cell evolution and increase strength. Although this growth, while minimal, is also a method. Normal push-ups are too easy, I'm going to do weight-bearing push-ups. Li Kunlun challenged a higher difficulty, and carried the barbell plate that his sister Li Xiaoyu used to exercise her strength behind her back. With a total weight of 200 kilograms of barbell plates, Li Kunlun lay on the ground and continued to do push-ups. Ding, the host is doing push-ups, the cells are evolving, and the strength is increased by 500 grams. Ding, the host is doing push-ups, the cells are evolving, and the strength is increased by 500 grams. Ding, the host is doing push-ups, the cells are evolving, and the strength is increased by 500 grams. The system beep sounded continuously, and Li Kunlun's power was also increasing at a speed visible to the naked eye. Li Kunlun didn't finish his practice until the middle of the night. After taking off the barbell, Li Kunlun felt sore and numb, exhausted, and fell asleep. The next day, Li Kunlun got up as usual and went to work with Li's father at the defensive barriers in Dongcheng district. After Li's father climbed the tower, Li Kunlun sneaked away again, looking for an opportunity to exercise himself. Li Kunlun started training his fighting ability. The more the body is hit, the cells evolve and become more resilient. At that time, it is not a joke to be invulnerable to guns and bullets, and to be invulnerable to fire and water. In addition, exposure to beetles such as longhorn beetles can also make cells evolve and enhance Li Kunlun's physical strength. Li Kunlun can harden the epidermal cells and resist the inevitable attack. Attack, defense. Li Kunlun used the time he had to keep training. On the third day, it was the time for the official martial artist exam. Father Li took half a day off. When the family was about to finish breakfast, they sent their younger sister Li Xiaoyu to take the official martial artist exam. The meeting point is at the military railway station in Baikeng district. It's 9 o'clock, you can't be late. Otherwise, you will be disqualified from the exam. Li Kunlun drank soy milk, ate fried dough sticks, and watched TV, very calm. Li's father and Li's mother gave Li Xiaoyu thousands of warnings and 10,000 instructions. Who knows, their son, Li Kunlun, will also take the test of the official martial artist. According to reports, Yan Dao Wuzun successfully broke through to be King Wu at 3 in the morning today, and was titled, Yan Luoba Dao. At 5 o'clock, the Yamablade went to the Taihan Mountains alone and decapitated a monarch-level beast, the extremely cold crocodile dragon. I heard that he is going to take out the soul crystal of the extremely cold crocodile dragon and give it to the best one of the younger generation, to condense the martial soul and break through the realm of Wuzun. Every news channel on TV is writing a lot about the newly promoted Wu Wang, Yan Luoba sword. At present, there is no martial god born in the world, and the strongest is martial emperor. How rare is Emperor Wu? King Wu is the most powerful person in the world under Emperor Wu. Every country, once a new warrior king is added, will hype it up and increase its status and influence in the world. Arctic crocodile dragon, soul crystal. Li Xiaoyu was also watching TV, showing an envious expression. The soul crystal of the beast is like the Qidan of a martial artist. Therefore, at least the beasts of the commander level can condense soul crystals. Sovereign level soul crystals like the extreme cold crocodile dragon are even more precious. Unexpectedly, the newly promoted king of Wu, the Yamada Saber, was so arrogant that he directly announced that he would bestow his best junior. With a monarch-level soul crystal, it is estimated that it would be an easy thing to break through from a general to a martial master and condense a martial soul. Okay, don't look, these are too far away. Let's pass the official martial artist exam in front of us first. Mother Li touched Li Xiaoyu's head and smiled kindly. Li Xiaoyu nodded. She is now wearing a combat uniform called the Vulcan series. A dark red and carbon fiber texture intertwined, closely attached to Li Xiaoyu's youthful body, making her legs extraordinarily slender. A short sword is inserted on the outer side of the thigh, and the Vulcan 2 pistol is stuffed with real guns on the outside, and a Vulcan shotgun and a tactical backpack are carried on the back. This set of equipment is down, 2 million yuan. The expensive price made it impossible for the Li family to buy a second set of combat uniforms. However, a good combat uniform can greatly improve the probability of survival, and it is worth the cost of 2 million. Mom and Dad, big brother, let's go. Wearing a combat uniform with a high ponytail, Li Xiaoyu, who looked youthful and beautiful, added a bit of heroism, said to Li Kunlun and the others. Li's father and Li's mother were in tears as they stood beside them and kept nodding their heads. They said, "Okay, my daughter has grown up. The examiners of the official martial artist exam are not waiting for anyone." The family left early. Li Kunlun wore a city camouflage uniform and carried a travel backpack. Li's father also asked Li Kunlun why he was carrying a bag, and he just found a reason to deal with it. The four took a taxi to the military railway station in Baikeng district. The trains of today are no longer the trains they used to be before the Great Disruption. After the Great Destruction, there was a disaster of beasts all over the world. The land transportation network that used to extend in all directions has long been broken. Every human survival base is a bit like an isolated island submerged and isolated by the rough sea. Ordinary people can only stay in one city for a lifetime. Now, through the efforts of the human camp, several important railway routes have been opened up as the lifeblood of transportation. Along the railway, all the important checkpoints are basically guarded by the army to prevent the beasts from interrupting the transportation lifeline. Therefore, if you want to leave Zhongcheng by train and go to other human survival-based cities, the ticket fee required is also extremely expensive. Arrive at the military train station. There is an endless stream of vehicles and a sea of AA people. This time the official martial artist exam will be attended by the senior management of the Thunder Martial Arts Hall, and I don't know who leaked the news. As a result, the number of apprentice martial artists who took the exam increased sharply, reaching an unprecedented number of thousands. The military sent soldiers to maintain order and did not let the offenders stay at the train station at all. After the apprentices sent by relatives and friends for reference, they must leave immediately. Sitting in the car, Li Kunlun saw the railway station in the distance. It was heavily guarded, and an elite soldier, with real guns and live ammunition, was guarding there. Every apprentice martial artist, most of them wearing combat uniforms, sabers and guns, can only enter the station after passing the identity verification. It can only be sent here, and no parking is allowed in front. The driver said, slamming on the brakes. After the taxi stopped, Li Xiaoyu turned to look at her parents, her eyes full of reluctance. Looking at Li Kunlun again, he grinned and showed his little tiger teeth. He smiled and said, "Big brother, there are many people in this exam. I will look for you when I look back, and see if there is anyone who is suitable for my sister-in-law. I will introduce it to you." Li Kunlun scratched Li Xiaoyu's nose and said angrily, "Stop talking. Don't be nervous, big brother will protect you." Li Xiaoyu opened the car door, waved to her family, and walked to the military train station. Father Li closed his eyes and clenched his fists. Mother Li rolled down the car window and shouted worriedly, "Xiaoyu, life is more important, it's okay to fail the exam, it doesn't matter." Li Xiaoyu did not look back and made an okay gesture. At the same time, she held the small lucky bag given by Li Kunlun in her other hand and took a deep breath. "Big brother, I know you will protect me." The taxi was about to drive away, but Li Kunlun called to stop, opened the door, and walked out. Father Li and Mother Li asked in surprise, "Son, what are you doing here?" Li Kunlun carried a backpack and smiled freely, "Of course I'm going to take the official martial artist exam." What? Li's father and Li's mother petrochemical together. They suspect that their ears are hearing it wrong, or that there is something wrong with their son's head. "Are you going to take the official martial artist exam?" Father Li and Mother Li exclaimed in disbelief. "Son, are you crazy? The official martial artist exam, but the test that can only be taken by apprentice martial artists, ordinary people can't take it at all." "You, don't be ridiculous." Li Kunlun took out the registration booklet from his backpack and handed it to his parents. "I'm not fooling around." He smiled casually. "Actually, I have passed the assessment of the apprentice martial artist behind your back, but I haven't told you. First, I'm afraid you will be worried. Secondly, I don't want to increase the burden on the family. The family can't afford a second set of 2 million Vulcan II combat uniforms. Son, you Mother Li looked at Li Kunlun with pride, worry, and surprise. Originally, Li Kunlun had been tested before, without martial arts talent. Who knows how he passed the apprentice martial arts test? In addition, there are only 2 children in the Li family. If they all had an accident in the official martial artist exam, how could the 2 old couples bear it? You must know that the death rate of the official martial artist exam is not low. Mother Li did not want Li Kunlun to go. Father Li's palm trembled slightly and took out a crumpled cigarette from his pocket. He wanted to smoke, but found he didn't have a lighter. Dad. Li Kunlun pulled out a lighter like a juggler and lit a cigarette for Li's father. Father Li took a deep breath, glanced at Li Kunlun silently, and said solemnly, "Mom, let him go." "Kana A. The kids are all grown up, let him go." "Good man, why are you afraid of fighting?" Mother Li hesitated for a while, and finally agreed. The car behind started to whistle to urge. The driver said, "I said too, a dual martial artist, you should be proud of them." "Yes, a dual martial artist." Finally, the driver drove away. Mother Li couldn't hold back and burst into tears. Good man, why are you afraid of fighting?" Li Kunlun sighed and walked towards the train station. "Check in at the station, verify your identity, and wait in the waiting hall." The waiting room is full of trainee warriors who took the test this time. They were standing or sitting, and some people who knew each other were still talking in low voices. After Li Xiaoyu came in, she felt a little lonely. All the people around are apprentice martial artists, they can only be stronger than her, and no one is weaker than her. "Big brother." Li Xiaoyu clenched a little lucky bag in his hand. At this moment, a hand tapped her shoulder. Li Xiaoyu was startled and noticed a familiar aura. He turned his head and saw that it was a familiar face. "Elder brother." Li Xiaoyu was surprised again and cried out in doubt. "No, how did you get in?" No, there must be something wrong." Li Xiaoyu felt that his little head was down. "This is the place for the official martial artist exam, why did your big brother appear here?" "Big brother, where did you come from? You can't come in here, I'll take you out now." Li Xiaoyu took Li Kunlun's palm and wanted to take him out. Unexpectedly, with Li Xiaoyu's strength as an apprentice martial artist, Li Kunlun could not be pulled at all. Li Kunlun stood there, motionless, and said with a smile, "Silly girl, I can come in naturally because I am also a trainee martial artist. I also applied for the official martial artist exam this time." "Big brother, have you become a trainee martial artist?" Li Xiaoyu widened her apricot eyes and looked at Li Kunlun in disbelief. She wanted to see signs of lying on Li Kunlun's face. Obviously, Li Kunlun is very serious. "Is it difficult to become a trainee martial artist?" Li Kunlun asked rhetorically. Li Xiaoyu's pretty face sank. It is somewhat Versailles to be said by a big brother who has no talent in martial arts. Even if you become a trainee martial artist, that's not enough. You don't have a combat uniform, no weapons, and no adequate preparation. Isn't this nonsense? Do you know how difficult this apprentice martial artist exam will be? Not to mention the unprecedented increase in the number of people. Because this time there will be high-level personnel from the Thunder Martial Arts Academy, the difficulty will definitely increase sharply. Li Kunlun came to the exam in camouflage, it was like an outing. Li Kunlun smiled lightly, "Why didn't I make adequate preparations? Is this big bag for nothing?" Li Kunlun shrugged and moved the backpack behind him. "What did you get, big brother?" Li Xiaoyu was also a little curious about what Li Kunlun brought. No combat uniforms, no guns and ammunition, what else to bring? Pulling open the drawstring of the backpack and taking a look, Li Xiaoyu was dumbfounded. The whole person stood in place, petrified, and then shattered. Li Kunlun's backpack contained pots and pans, firewood, rice, oil, salt, and some lighters. What's more, Li Xiaoyu saw the sleeping bag. Li Xiaoyu looked at her brother speechlessly. Without further ado, she grabbed her brother and prepared to leave the train station. "Why are you here for the exam? You are clearly here for an outing. What a fool." Li Xiaoyu was angry and funny, and wanted to give Li Kunlun a lesson. But she didn't even notice that her original nervousness had eased a lot. Li Kunlun stood on the spot like a nail, and Li Xiaoyu couldn't move it at all. "I heard that some ferocious beast meat is good. It is rare to go to a ferocious beast town, so why not try it?" Li Xiaoyu puffed out his cheeks and said angrily, "You eat a beast." "I think it's a beast that eats you, big brother. Let's go, Mom and Dad are just a son like you, don't make trouble, okay?" Li Xiaoyu was anxious, but she was also aware of the strangeness. As a trainee martial artist, he couldn't even pull Li Kunlun. Has your big brother really become an apprentice martial artist now? But even if you become an apprentice martial artist, without weapons or combat uniforms, going to the town of beasts is still delivering food to the beasts. At this time, outside the train station, a black limousine stopped. The door opened, men and women in military uniforms, moon-white robes, or combat uniforms with mottled marks walked down. Regardless of gender, age, they all wore golden medals. Wuzong. Without exception, all of them are Wuzong. And the old man who got down from an extended luxury sedan in the middle had a medal in front of him with 4 stars shining in purple gold material. The purple and gold medal, representing military generals. In addition to this medal, there is also a golden thunder and lightning badge, which is also extremely dazzling. The soldiers stationed at the railway station stood at attention in unison, making a bang sound. In the face of many strong men, these soldiers respect and salute. "President Zhou, please come inside." He holds the rank of major and is a military master of Wuzong's strong man, leading the way for the old man surnamed Zhou. "Well, there is Major Lao Zhang." The old man surnamed Zhou walked in the front with a faucet and crutches, nodding with a smile. The other martial masters followed behind. Waiting hall. The crowd, who was still a little noisy, immediately became quiet when they heard the movement outside the train station. Li Xiaoyu's heart sank. Oops, it won't be the examiner, right? Facing the dazzling sunlight, a group of strong men wearing the medals of the Warrior Association walked in with a majestic aura. The many apprentices waiting for the exam suddenly took a breath. Major Zhang, a military expert. Mars Hunter Sun Junyu. And Miss Qian of Zhongcheng Chamber of Commerce. Good guy, at least all are martial artists, and the rest are all martial arts. These are all big people who stomp and make Zhongcheng tremble. These trainee warriors exclaimed. Wait, look at that old man. Purple gold medal, difficult. Could it be that he is a strong general? Hey, he is really a military general, and he wears the badge of the Thunder Martial Arts Hall. It really is the Thunder Martial Arts Hall that has come to the top. There's nothing wrong with the grapevine. After a moment of silence, the waiting room seemed to explode. The arrival of the old man in tank suit is to detonate their spark. They whispered, talked a lot, and got emotional. Only Li Xiaoyu's face became more and more difficult to look at. Now that so many big people have come, they can't leave if they want to. Li Kunlun touched Li Xiaoyu's head and said in a low voice, "Don't worry, as soon as you come, you will be safe. Besides, is your big brother an unreliable person? You have to know that big brother never does anything unsure." Li Xiaoyu rolled her eyes at Li Kunlun and said angrily, "Today's events are so unreliable. Forget it, after the exam starts, we will form a team, you can follow me." Li Xiaoyu has the attitude of a younger sister protecting her big brother. Li Kunlun smiled. "Okay, you protect me, I'll treat you to barbecue." While the brothers and sisters were chatting, the military powerhouse Major Zhang stepped forward. He was as straight as a long spear, and his eyes were piercing and swept across the crowd. A capable, stern and chilling aura emerged from the body and swept the audience. The noisy crowd soon quieted down. Chapter 11. One person suppresses the crowd. This is the power of Wuzong. The murderous aura that erupted from Major Zhang definitely belongs to the battlefield of hundreds of battles. To put it bluntly, the apprentice martial artist present is a new recruit. How can they withstand the pressure of Major Zhang? Only Li Kunlun, under the pressure of Major Zhang's momentum, made his own cells evolve again. Ding, the host is mentally stimulated by the outside world, cells evolve, and gain the ability to intimidate LV1 and counter-intimidate LV1. 4 Wuzongs and 1 general, I really want to go up and shake hands with them and exchange feelings. When others see Wuzong and generals, they are all in awe and look up to them. But Li Kunlun is completely different. In the eyes of Li Kunlun, these Wuzongs and generals are like sweet pastries. I can't wait to jump up and take a bite. Unfortunately, I don't know them well. It is obviously unrealistic to have long-term contact with Wuzong and generals without exposing the system and capabilities. Li Kunlun sighed, secretly saying what a pity. There is still a big gap between him and Wuzong and generals. It will definitely take a long time to make contact through handshake and other means, and then make the cells evolve. Li Kunlun definitely couldn't hold hands with one of them for a long time. Unless, Li Kunlun stared at Miss Qian, among the many Zhongcheng bigwigs, with bright eyes. A thought flashed in his mind, soak her. Read for the rise of the nation. No, it's a girl for cell evolution. Miss Qian Liner of Zhongcheng Chamber of Commerce, as Wuzong, is naturally extremely sensitive. She noticed an unusually fiery gaze, turned her head to look, and found Li Kunlun. Wear a camouflage uniform for the official martial artist exam. Either a fool or an arrogant fool. Qian Liner shook her head and stopped looking at him. Apparently sees Li Kunlun as a stupid and arrogant disciple. After Major Zhang suppressed the audience, he waited for a while before slowly opening his mouth. I think many of you have obtained information. That's right, the one next to me is Mr. Zhou Yi, the branch president of the Thunder Martial Arts Hall. Thunder Martial Arts Hall, branch president. Hearing Major Zhang's introduction, everyone present, although they had already guessed the identity of Zhou Lao, still caused a lot of shock. Major Zhang said succinctly, President Zhou is here this time to find some fresh blood for Thunder Martial Arts Hall. So I won't go around the corners. The difficulty of this official martial artists exam has increased slightly. The difficulty of the exam increased, which caused a lot of commotion among the trainees present. Major Zhang continued. The original official martial artist exam, presumably you all know, live in the beast town for one night, and hunt down at least one low-level beast. Now, we, the examiners, went to the beast town and lost 4 middle-level beasts. 1 injured high-level beast. Intermediate beast, advanced beast, everyone, hiss, and took a breath of cold air. Originally, the mortality rate of the official martial artist exam was not low. Fortunately, 4 intermediate level beasts and 1 high level beast have been added. Wouldn't that be sent to death? Some apprentices will inevitably have some criticisms. Major Zhang snorted coldly and shouted, the exam has not yet started. Those who are afraid of death and want to quit can get out now. Some people whisper, some looked hesitant, some were silent. After a while, a few people actually quit temporarily and left the train station. Major Zhang was accustomed to it, sneered, and continued, if you can kill the intermediate level beast this time, you can be admitted to the Thunder Martial Arts Academy. If you can kill the injured high-level beasts, you can even be admitted to the Thunder Martial Arts Hall. I'm lucky to be able to meet the president of the Thunder Martial Art Museum, the Thunder Martial Emperor, Lord Lei Hong. Boom. There was an uproar. Everyone was excited, and the blood in the body boiled. See Thunder Wudi. Is there anything more exciting than this? Thunder Martial Emperor, one of the 3 major martial emperors in China. Top 10 strongest in the world. Such an unparalleled existence, even if only to meet once, is enough to brag to the descendants for a lifetime. Major Zhang said at this time, I feel sorry for the few people who just quit because they were greedy for life and fear of death. Chairman Zhou, who was leaning on the dragon head crutches, coughed dryly, as Hong Zhang said, you don't need to get too excited. Compared to seeing Lord Lei Ting Wudi, in fact, your own life is the most important thing, you have to do what you can. The 4 intermediate level beasts, as well as the injured high level beasts, will only move within a certain range. If you find them and are unable to hunt them, it's best to retreat. Preserving your life is the most important thing. Living is more important than anything else. Li Kunlun had a little more affection for the amiable old man in front of him. President Zhou asked the trainee soldiers who were dizzy with blood to regain their calm and would not touch a stone with an egg. You must know that the mid-level beasts are not even a little bit stronger than the low-level beasts. What's more, there is a high-level beast. Although the high-level fierce beast was injured, the thin and dead camel was bigger than a horse. More than a dozen apprentice warriors swarmed up, not necessarily enough for high-level beasts to kill. Okay, let's go to the beast town. Not much to say. Several invigilators and President Zhou led the team, walked in front, passed through the waiting hall, and came to the platform. The waiting hall and platform have all undergone military transformation. All in order to defend against beasts. Of course, it's still safe here, after all, it's inside Zhongcheng. When he left Zhong City, Li Kunlun would find that ultra-high voltage power grids were erected on both sides of the railway tracks. Every once in a while, military checkpoints are set up in order to be able to timely support the emergencies along the railway track. This is just a defensive measure. As for the train itself, it is also armed to the teeth. Li Kunlun, his sister Li Xiaoyu and others walked through the waiting hall to the platform. They were all stunned when they saw the train parked by the platform. Everyone sucked in a breath of cold air, and their eyes were full of shock. Li Kunlun is also the first time to see the train after the Great Destruction. At first glance, it is simply a ferocious steel dragon. On the basis of the original, the train has undergone a large-scale modification. In order to reduce the attractiveness to the beasts and increase the defense capability, various hard bulletproof and explosion-proof armors are installed. In addition, the surface also incorporates the carapace of various dragon-like beasts. Through the combination of various beast armors, the entire train is disguised as a dragon beast. No wonder Li Kunlun and the others were shocked when they saw it. Because at first glance, the train looked like a giant steel dragon lying across the rails. Ferocious and mighty, full of deterrence. Li Xiaoyu exclaimed, "Is this a train?" At first glance, I was so frightened that I thought it was the corpse of a dragon-like beast. Li Kunlun replied admiringly, "It's a train. I didn't expect that the military used this method to allow trains to travel in no man's land." The so-called no man's land is the area outside the hunting zone. Whether it is a warrior or an ordinary person, they will live in a safe base city. Outside the base city is the hunting area. There will often be hunting teams composed of warriors who go out to hunt and kill beasts. Beyond the hunting area, it is an uninhabited no man's land. There are high-class beasts everywhere, completely occupied by beasts, and even more dangerous. And the most dangerous place is the restricted area of life. As long as it is a territory occupied by monarch-level beasts and emperor-level beasts, it will be classified as a restricted area of life by humans. Even the unparalleled powerhouses in human countries will not go to the restricted area of life if it is not necessary. Li Xiaoyu said, "Is the train modified like this to deceive those beasts?" Li Kunlun nodded and said, "Those beasts with low intelligence saw the modified train that looked like dragon-like beasts. And then when I heard the train running, it would make a loud rumbling like thunder. Most of them think that the train running on the track is actually a powerful and terrifying dragon-like beast. This is indeed a way to reduce the infestation of beasts. In the social system of beasts, people have long found that they have a stricter hierarchy than humans. As a high-ranking beast, it has absolute suppression power over low-ranking beasts. Therefore, those commander-level vicious beasts, monarch-level vicious beasts, and even emperor-level vicious beasts can initiate waves of vicious beasts of different scales. The greatest threat to humans is always the high-ranking beasts. Human beings have also been trying their best to cultivate super-strong, perseveringly carry out the beheading plan of high-level beasts. Okay, don't waste time, everyone, hurry up and enter the fire dragon, according to the carriage assigned in the manual." Major Zhang said loudly. When registering, the carriage number has already been assigned. As for seat numbers, sorry, it's all standing tickets, so no. After all, it is not a peaceful era, and the transportation cost and space of a fire dragon train are very precious. There is simply no extra space for seating. Big brother, I'm the 6th car. Hey, I'm also in carriage number 6. Li Kunlun and his sister signed up on the same day, and they belonged to the immediately allocated carriage. Unexpectedly, they were still grouped together. Many apprentices began to enter the fire dragon train according to the carriage number. Chairman Zhou, Major Zhang and other Wuzong masters sat on the front and rear of the fire dragon and were responsible for the safety of the entire train. In each carriage, there is also a deputy examiner, who is responsible for explaining the specific test requirements. The deputy examiner of the 6th carriage is a martial artist named Lu Mingtao. Lu Mingtao said, "You must have seen the content of the exam in the manual. Now, let me reiterate the details to you." Li Kunlun's eyes fell on Lu Mingtao and he began to listen to his explanation. As we all know, hunting low-level beasts is considered to pass the exam. But how do you prove that you killed the beast? So get the tracker on the beast. Tracking device. Questions were raised immediately. Excuse me, Mr. Deputy Examiner, what kind of tracker? Lu Mingtao took out a thumb-sized cylindrical tube from his pocket and said, this is the tracker. All the beasts in the beast town, yes, all the beasts, all have trackers. These beasts, in addition to being used for your assessment and hunting, are also convenient for researchers to study. Everyone knows that the beasts in the beast town are used to hunt and kill the apprentices. Unexpectedly, it can also be used for researchers to study fierce beasts. Yes, in the era of rampant beasts, human beings have also done a lot of research on beasts in order to defeat them. In order to be able to keep track of the whereabouts of the beasts at all times, the experts in the military have marked the beasts with this kind of tracker after capturing the beasts. Lu Mingtao raised the tracker in his hand and showed it to everyone. The location of the tracker is usually on the head or neck of the beast. After you kill the beast, you can recover the tracker. Hunting beasts, the more trackers you recover, the better your results will be. Li Kunlun's eyes fell on Lu Junyuan's hand. Keep track of what the tracker looks like in your head. Lu Junyuan continued. The tracker is divided into 3 colors, bronze, white silver, and gold. The vicious beast injected with the bronze tracker is a low-level vicious beast. The vicious beast injected with the white silver tracker is a mid-level vicious beast. The beast injected with the golden tracker is a high-level beast. Everyone in the carriage thought to themselves that the color grading of the tracker seemed to be the same as the grading of the warrior medal. Although it is easy to pass the official martial artist exam, you only need to successfully hunt down a low-level vicious beast yourself. But in fact, the more you hunt and the better you perform, the more you will be appreciated by the examiner. I don't need to say more, there are several chief examiners, all of them are Lord Wuzong in Zhongcheng, representing all major forces. Whether you can let them extend an olive branch to you depends on your own performance. Anyone who understands knows that this exam is not just a simple one from a trainee warrior to a full-fledged warrior. Even more, let yourself go into Zhongcheng's big power, let them regard you as a seed player, cast their favor, and even be willing to focus on training opportunities. Lu Mingtao shouted loudly. I hope that the soldiers Zhongcheng will go out are not useless, not cowards, and they won't even dare to kill a low-level vicious beast. Not only do you have to hunt them, but the more you kill, the better. The spring thunder-like voice shook everyone's eardrums and their blood boiled. At the same time, the apprentice martial artist, who was originally nervous and timid, became full of confidence under the encouragement of Lu Mingtao. Deputy Examiner Lu Mingtao's remarks aroused the enthusiasm of everyone. Fight. Ferocious beasts are nothing to fear. The younger sister Li Xiaoyu came close to Li Kunlun's ear, and inadvertently the orchid breathed in his ear. Big brother, don't worry, I'm here. This official martial artist exam, I will protect you. Li Xiaoyu said firmly. Li Kunlun felt a little itchy in his ears, so he raised his hand and touched Li Xiaoyu's head. The big brother is up to you to protect him. As the deputy examiner spoke, the Hualong train made a harsh rumbling whistle. The platform soldiers stood at attention and saluted, sending them off. Like a train of steel dragons, it started again and left the platform. It is worth mentioning that the carriage has the kind of spherical windows. From the outside, these spherical windows are scarlet, like the eyes of dragon-type beasts. Every car of the whole train has spherical windows, which adds a lot of deterrence. Li Kunlun and his sister occupied a seat near the car window. Through the spherical window, you can see that the scenery of the outside world is rapidly regressing. Nearby are various iron fences, high-voltage wires, and tracks covered with stones. In the distance, row upon row of Zhongcheng buildings rise and fall like waves. The dragon train is getting faster and faster. Everyone who participated in the official exam finally embarked on a journey to the ferocious beast town. This is the beginning of another part of their life. Rise and silence. Dead or alive, the humble beast town will decide all of this. After the train traveled for a while, Zhongcheng's defensive barriers could be seen. That tall, majestic, solid steel city wall was the first to receive the news that the fire dragon had applied to leave the city. The thick and sturdy steel city gate, like a sophisticated vault safe, is divided into 4 pieces and opens quickly. The fire dragon train entered and rumbled through a tunnel inside the steel fortress. It can be seen that all these tunnels are equipped with super powerful thermal weapons. In order to prevent the outbreak of the beast tide, there will be fierce beasts through the tunnel to break into Zhongcheng. The firepower defense here is naturally amazing. At the end of the tunnel, there is a light. When the train penetrated into the light, the eyes of everyone suddenly became brighter. The dead, dilapidated and desolate hunting area broke into everyone's eyes. Collapsed overpasses, broken roads, peeling buildings, crazy vegetation. It used to be a place where humans lived. Is a symbol of civilization. Today, only the ruins and the ferocious beasts remain. The trainee soldiers in the car fell silent. They are both out of town for the first time. Even someone like Li Kunlun who works in the defensive fortress can be said to be used to seeing the ruins of the hunting area. After being in the hunting area, all that was left was shock and at a loss. Ferocious beast, great destruction, destroying human civilization. Decades past the Great Destruction. Humanity has been searching for the truth and origin of the Great Destruction, but found nothing. The speed of the fire dragon train continued to accelerate. The whole train rumbled and galloped on the rails, galloping with lightning speed. The tracks are lined with towering ultra-high voltage grids. In fact, even if there is no high voltage power grid, few beasts dare to challenge the train disguised as beasts. The trainees in the carriage closed their eyes, waited nervously, or wiped their guns silently. Only the examiners who are located in the head car or the tail car hold the tablet computer and check the information of the candidates at will. They are not only powerful Wuzongs. It also represents the great power behind him. Thunder Martial Arts, Zhongcheng Chamber of Commerce, Cross-Base City Company, Military, a very prestigious hunting party. All are Zhongcheng giants. Major Zhong, Martian hunter Sun Junyu, Qian Liner and other Wuzong powerhouses chatted while reading the materials. This exam has a large number of participants. Ha 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 ha, we have to get the light of Thunder Martial Arts Hall in Elder Zhou. When there are too many people, it is naturally a mix of fish and dragons. What kind of apprentice martial artist comes to take the exam, trying to fish in the water? Qian Liner thought of the Dengxi in the waiting hall and couldn't help humming. Major Zhang said, there are also good seedlings. The young son of Zheng's group has excellent martial arts qualifications, and he spent a lot of money on training since he was a child. It is worth looking forward to his performance. Isn't Wu Zimo the son of Wu Sheng, the legendary Wuzong of Zhongcheng? A tiger father has no dog son, so he should not be bad. I'm more optimistic about Zhao Tizu. He is honest and honest. He has a solid foundation. Chao Tianlong is also good. He has a background in his family, and his qualifications are good. The ancestral way of wandering the dragon is about to enter the micro level. At this time, the Martian manhunter let out a sigh. There is a trainee martial artist named Li Kunlun, have you seen it? His apprentice martial artist assessment, the power of one punch, hit more than 20,000 kilograms. What, 20,000 kilograms of punch? Qian Liner exclaimed. Isn't that similar to a martial artist? You must know that the assessment standard for a trainee martial artist is only 1,000 kilogram. Major Zhang said. He should be born with divine power, but unfortunately, the information says that this person has extremely poor martial arts qualifications, and there is no possibility of cultivating qi. Let me see. Qian Liner entered the words, Li Kunlun, on her tablet and searched. Soon, the tablet showed an introduction and photo of Li Kunlun. It's him. Qian Liner's beautiful eyes flashed with surprise. Isn't it the one who looked at himself with straight eyes in the waiting hall, wearing a city camouflage uniform? The fist strength is 20,000 caddies, no wonder he is a bit arrogant. It's a pity that without martial arts talent, at most it stops at the realm of martial artist and martial artist. Innate power is good. Unfortunately, manpower will eventually run out. Whether it can break the limit depends on qi. High-level martial artist, which one does not rely on infuriating energy to display earth-shattering martial arts. Who can break the sky with one punch? Zhou Lao looked at the tablet computer and said lightly, the family background is extremely clean, the experience is ordinary, and he is born with divine power. Unfortunately, the martial arts qualifications are not good, it is really a pity. I don't know if he can become the dark horse of this exam. Unexpectedly, Li Kunlun's information attracted the attention of several examiners. Unfortunately, it was only a small concern. Without martial arts qualifications, he is ultimately lost. Unless in the official exam, shine. Rumble rumble. The fire dragon train galloped. Not knowing how long it took, the train pulled into a heavily armed platform. Outside the platform, the roar of beasts could be heard from time to time. The ferocious beast town is here. P.S. Mom is not feeling well, I am going back to my hometown to take her to check. After returning to my hometown, I took out my laptop and started coding, only to find that the computer did not have a charger. The child is stupid. I can only take my phone and tap slowly. The Hualong train, which was constantly slowing down, finally stopped. Why did the train stop? Arrived. Are we there yet? The exam is finally about to start. There are many trainee warriors in the carriage, you talk to me and talk to each other. Big brother. The younger sister held Li Kunlun's palm nervously. Don't worry, it doesn't matter. Li Kunlun smiled and comforted Li Xiaoyu, his heartbeat actually quickened a bit. Li Xiaoyu only competed with classmates at the school's martial arts field. The battle of life and death, hunting and killing beasts, there is no such thing. As for Li Kunlun's words, of course, needless to say. At most, he helped his mother kill chickens and ducks. As for the beasts, I have never seen them alive, let alone killed them. But as a big brother, Li Kunlun naturally can't let Li Xiaoyu be afraid. The beasts recorded in the exam manual have been rehearsed and hunted dozens or hundreds of times in Li Kunlun's mind. Li Kunlun has no talent for martial arts, but he has a mind and spirit far beyond others. Li Kunlun took a deep breath and calmed down. Phew, hunting time, start. Laugh. The doors of the fire dragon train opened, accompanied by hot white air. The deputy examiners in each compartment shouted loudly, "Chicks, come on. At this time tomorrow, come to the platform alive to meet us. Burn your blood, hunt down the beasts. Our heroic sons and daughters of Zhongcheng are by no means cowards or cowards. Kill, kill, kill." The words shouted by each deputy examiner are all different. But without exception, they inspire everyone in their own way. Thousands of apprentice martial artists rushed out from the carriages of the fire dragon train. Li Kunlun also left the platform with his sister. Several chief examiners headed by Zhou Lao walked out of the Hualong train. Major Zhang led them and said, "Everyone, let's go to the control center of the beast town and wait." Qian Liner, Martian hunter Sun Junyu and others nodded. After leaving the train station, the appearance of the beast town came into view. Although it is a small town, in fact, the ferocious beast town covers a huge area, far exceeding that of ordinary towns. Thousands of beasts live here. The only difference is that these beasts live under the supervision and control of humans. The apprentices scattered in groups of 3 or 5. Teaming up can effectively improve the odds of survival, at least that's what they think. Big brother, are we going to team up with someone else? Li Xiaoyu asked hesitantly. No need, no matter how many rabble there are, it will only be a rabble. Only when you are strong can you be truly strong. Li Kunlun's eyes sharpened. Xiaoyu, I'm going to start grinding you next. Li Xiaoyu was still a little worried, but she still chose to trust her big brother. After rejecting several waves of apprentice warriors who wanted to form a team, they headed towards the less populated street. It's like a world out of an apocalyptic movie. Desolate, dilapidated, overgrown. The streets are lined with abandoned shops. From time to time, there are rotten dogs with festering flesh wandering on the road. Ferocious beast. That is a living beast. The siblings stopped. Not long after they left the train station in the ferocious beast town, they encountered the ferocious beasts that can only be seen in textbooks and on the internet. Roar. 2 or 3 rotten dogs that were biting at the carrion on the roadside smelled the breath of strangers and turned to look. Eyes glowed green, grinned, and stinky saliva dripped from the gap between the fangs. Obviously, the rotten dog also noticed Li Kunlun, Li Xiaoyu and the others. The nerves of Li Kunlun and Li Xiaoyu were instantly tense. Li Kunlun was more excited than nervous. I don't know if it's because of cell evolution. As a fourth-order life form, Li Kunlun saw the rotting dogs and these beasts, and he was not afraid, but looked down. Like a lion seeing a rabbit. Even a lion cub with no hunting experience, the moment he saw the rabbit, he already regarded them as his prey. Brother, Big brother, they seem to have found us. Li Xiaoyu said nervously. When she was on the train, she swore to protect Li Kunlun. But deep down, he still relies on his big brother subconsciously. Li Kunlun regained his calm and said, "Rotten dog, the weakest beast among the low-level beasts. Aren't you trying to protect big brother? Draw your dagger and prepare to fight." Li Xiaoyu subconsciously wanted to draw a gun. Hearing Li Kunlun's words, he had no choice but to draw out the short sword tied to his thigh. She also realized that precious bullets should not be wasted because of rotting dogs. Ho ho ho! The 3 rotten dogs rushed like mad dogs. Li Xiaoyu flashed to Li Kunlun's front, took a stance, with the dagger in front of him. Seeing the 3 rotten dogs, Li Xiaoyu became highly nervous. Actual combat. This is real combat. Li Kunlun patted Li Xiaoyu's shoulder with one hand and smiled, "Don't be afraid, I'm here." Li Xiaoyu exhaled, and her eyes brightened. Ow! The first rotten dog jumped on its hind legs, and a hungry tiger pounced on it and bit it. Li Xiaoyu stepped on the footwork learned in school, and quickly turned sideways to dodge. Perfect action. Li Xiaoyu's basic skills are very solid. Oops, big brother. As soon as Li Xiaoyu dodged, he immediately realized that something was wrong. Because Li Kunlun was standing behind her. If she avoided, wouldn't big brother be in danger? Li Xiaoyu turned his head to look, and found that Li Kunlun, a strong and powerful man, had a big hand and directly grabbed the rotten dog's throat. Dare to look around while fighting. Li Kunlun snorted. With a big hand squeeze, the neck of the rotten dog was broken. Li Kunlun's body speed increased in vain, and he rushed to Li Xiaoyu. The other 2 rotten dogs rushed to the left and right while Li Xiaoyu was distracted. Li Kunlun's 2 big hands reached out like lightning, grabbed the rotten dog, and slammed into the middle. Bang! The heads of the 2 rotten dogs were torn apart like a broken watermelon. The yellow and white things splashed and smeared the ground. At this time, the system prompt sounds. Ding! The host comes into contact with low-level vicious beasts and rotten dogs. Cells evolve, and they acquire super digestive ability, and the gastrointestinal resistance is enhanced. Ding! The host is hunting for the first time, the cells evolve, and the hunting instinct is awakened. The bodies of the 3 rotting dogs fell at the feet of Li Kunlun and Li Xiaoyu. Just now, Li Xiaoyu's delicate body under the Vulcan II battle uniform broke out in cold sweat. If Li Kunlun hadn't been there, she might have been bitten by 2 rotting dogs that attacked her. Big brother, am I dead? Li Xiaoyu's pretty face was pale, and her beautiful voice trembled. This is actual combat. It doesn't matter how good your practice is and how good your studies at the martial arts academy are. In the actual combat with the enemy and the beast, a little carelessness will be irreversible. The result may be death. Li Xiaoyu recalled just now, and was afraid for a while. She didn't even notice that Li Kunlun killed 3 rotten dogs without a trace of blood splattered on them. Li Kunlun used his qi-controlling ability to arrange an qi membrane around his body. It was because of this air film that Li Kunlun was spared the fate of being splattered with blood. A drop of blood splattered on the air film, and then rolled to the ground. Li Kunlun said solemnly, "You are not dead, you are still alive. But if it wasn't for me just now, the consequences are hard to imagine." Li Kunlun noticed her sister's trembling with fear, and fondly touched her head. "Okay, eat a cut and grow your wisdom, and actual combat can make you grow. Remember now, in a dangerous environment, don't have any slack, like now." Li Kunlun didn't look back, punched him. With a bang, the rotten dog that suddenly jumped out of the store next to it and was bitten by it was killed. When Li Xiaoyu was startled, there was even a rotten dog. How could she know that Li Kunlun has been in contact with cats, snakes, and spiders, and the cells have evolved many times to acquire super sensing abilities? Li Kunlun observes the world, no longer simply with eyes. The sense of smell, hearing, heat induction, and even the mysterious sixth sense are far superior to those of a martial artist. Big brother, no trackers were found on these rotten dogs. Li Xiaoyu used a dagger to cut open the rotten flesh of the rotten dog and searched for the tracker, but couldn't find it. Li Kunlun glanced around for a week and replied, "Maybe these are rotten dogs that are still underage, so there is no tracker. Thousands of beasts live in the beast town, and they will naturally reproduce. Although rotten dogs are weak among low-level vicious beasts, their advantages are that they can eat anything, have strong survivability, and have a strong ability to reproduce offspring. Rotten dogs that gather in groups of 3 or 5 are often immature. The adult rotten dog is very hungry but eats everything. At this time, the sound of intense gunfire came from the nearby street. After a while, there were roars and screams. Big brother. Li Xiaoyu glanced at Li Kunlun. Li Kunlun shook his head and said, let's go, let's keep going around here. Minor rotten dogs are good practice objects to sharpen your actual combat experience. Li Xiaoyu was in a trance. She felt like there was another martial artist beside her, who was teaching herself carefully. Big brother is always so reliable. Looking at Li Kunlun's tall back, Li Xiaoyu felt a different kind of affection. Ferocious Beast Town Control Center. Several chief examiners are watching the monitoring screens one by one. Hidden cameras are installed in every corner of the beast town. With the help of a large number of cameras, the examiner can know how the apprentices performed in the exam. The burly and tall Sun Junyu folded his arms and sneered, these recruits are really eating. Qian Liner looked at the monitoring screen with a critical eye. A warrior with a poor mental quality came to participate in the official warrior exam, just to bring food to the beast. In the monitoring screen, it can be said that it is the trick death method of the trainee martial artist. Some apprentices have a bad mentality. After seeing the real beast, he was as nervous as the wooden man. The martial arts learned in the martial arts school were all returned to the teacher. Some apprentices are careless. As a result, he fell into the trap set by the beast and could only be reduced to food. There are other apprentices, like Li Xiaoyu, who just made a small mistake that led to a big mistake and lost their lives. Qian Liner pointed at a trainee martial artist whose mouth was pierced by a spider leg on the screen, and said, is it so difficult for a formal martial artist exam? Major Zhang smiled and said, you probably forgot how embarrassed you were during the exam. Sun Junyu said, we participated in the official martial artist exam, and although we passed it, it wasn't that easy. Who can really treat the official martial artist exam as an outing? Several martial arts experts, recalling their previous exams, couldn't help shaking their heads. The official martial artist exam is simple and cruel. In the surveillance screen, a trainee martial artist was pierced through the heart by a scorpion tail that was suddenly stabbed out of the alley. Another apprentice martial artist was pecked through the sky by a giant bird that fell from the sky, eating his brain. There is also a trainee martial artist whose throat was torn by a ghostly and dexterous shadow cat. Hey, who is this girl? She was fighting 3 rotten dogs all by herself. Let's see. Wuling College's Luiying swordsmanship and Kingbo footwork are quite solid. A girl with a ponytail in the surveillance caught the attention of the examiners. President Zhou's eyes were hot and he recognized at a glance that the 3 rotten dogs were still underage. Qian Liner saw that there was a man standing by the side of the picture, and she actually stood by. It's that disciple. Qian Liner clenched her fists in anger when she saw what the man was wearing. Who else is Li Kunlun? Major Zhang recruited materials and said, this girl is called Li Xiaoyu, and it's been a few days since she broke through as a trainee martial artist. She has performed well and is a malleable talent. The mind is good, and the future achievements are not low. Martian hunter Sun Junyu also nodded. Chairman Zhou leaned on a cane and smiled kindly. You only saw that the girl was good, but you ignored the more powerful one. Oh, I'd like to hear old Zhou's analysis. Elder Zhou stood up, came to the surveillance screen, and looked at it carefully. This man is instructing a little girl named Li Xiaoyu. Well, he is very powerful, bold, careful, and insightful. He is not in a hurry to hunt fierce beasts. He deliberately used the rotten dog's puppies to sharpen Li Xiaoyu's actual combat. Several Wuzong powerhouses looked at each other in dismay. But what President Zhou said was definitely true. As a strong military commander and the president of Zhongcheng's Thunder Martial Arts Hall, how vicious is Zhou Lao's eyes? Unfortunately, he has no martial arts qualifications. President Zhou recognized Li Kunlun and couldn't help sighing. Without martial arts qualifications, it means that the road ahead is cut off. What about innate divine power? God's power will come to an end. Chairman Zhou wanted to recommend Li Kunlun to enter the Thunder Martial Arts Academy, but unfortunately Li Kunlun's qualifications were too poor. In the beast town, Li Xiaoyu stabbed with a short sword, and the sword lights were interlaced, like falling flowers, and there was a murderous intention hidden in the beauty. A quick, accurate sword cut through the rotten dog's throat. This is martial arts. Li Kunlun, who was standing beside him, clapped his palms and praised. Li Xiaoyu put away the sword move and let out a sigh of relief. Unfortunately, Matru Chi is still low, otherwise a sword chi will be cut out, and the 3 rotten dogs would have died long ago. She said over and over again, dismantled the rotten dog, but still couldn't find the tracker. It seems to be an immature beast again. Only adult rotten dogs are low-level vicious beasts. Li Kunlun said. Let's go, you are used to fighting, let's go deep into the beast town. Ferocious beast towns, especially near train stations, are relatively less dangerous. After all, there is military repression. Only by going deep into the beast town can you meet low-level beasts. Even the intermediate-level beasts specially provided for this exam. Li Kunlun and Li Xiaoyu crossed 3 streets and saw many traces of battle. Roadside blood, bullet casings, guns, broken combat uniforms. There are the corpses of fierce beasts and the corpses of apprentices. Li Xiaoyu didn't speak, her heart was heavy. This is the harsh reality. Run, it's a mid-level vicious beast, an iron-armored bear. The team brought by Mr. Zheng has been wiped out. The mid-level vicious beast is really not something we can deal with, and the bazooka is useless. In the factory building in the small town in front, trainees kept running away in panic. The young son of the Zheng group, who was favored by a certain chief examiner, actually died inside. Obviously, the young master of Zheng's group wanted to enter the Thunder Martial Arts Hall, so he hunted down the middle-level beasts. Who knows, he brought 5 apprentice warriors, plus a lot of hot weapons, but the group was destroyed. Exams are expressly forbidden, and it is impossible to carry 2 good weapons. Otherwise, the wealthy children will directly enter the armor and sweep the low-level beasts. Where is the need for assessment? It's an intermediate beast, big brother, let's go. Li Xiaoyu tugged at Li Kunlun's clothes. Li Kunlun stood on the spot, unmoved, but his eyes were bright. Do you want to enter the Thunder Martial Arts Hall? Li Kunlun stood still like an iron tower, and asked indifferently. Thunder Martial Arts Hall. Li Xiaoyu hesitated for a moment. That is the martial arts hall of Emperor Lei Tingwu, one of the top 10 powerhouses in the world. Who doesn't want to enter? Is it? Li Xiaoyu looked at her big brother in disbelief. Big brother, you don't want to hunt down the iron-armored bears, do you? Intermediate-level beasts, in general, have a comprehensive threat that is equivalent to a tiger tank. The iron-armored bear is known for its strength and defense. It cannot penetrate its armor without firing armor-piercing projectiles from tanks. How do apprentices fight? The sword chi of a martial artist can't be split. Brother, I beg you, let's go. Li Xiaoyu was about to cry. With a loud bang, a violent black bear comparable to the size of an elephant broke through the factory building and was killed. It looks like a general, wearing heavy armor all over, but with a double in force and speed. The limbs moved, almost like an armored vehicle. Whenever he catches up with the fleeing apprentice martial artist, the iron-armored bear has strong front claws and slaps it up. Snapped. The man was slapped to the bone, and his flesh and blood flew out, smearing it on the walls and on the ground. Dead can't die anymore. Ah, you monster. I fought with you. The frightened apprentice martial artist turned his head and frantically shot the machine gun in his hand. The muzzle of the black hole, huffing and burning fierce fire. A shuttle of bullets hit the iron-armored bear, bursting out a fiery line of fire, and the sound of dang dang dang. Someone threw grenades and armored bears. The flames were soaring, and the smoke filled the air. It's a pity that ordinary guns and ammunition are useless against iron-armored bears. Cannot cause lethal lethality. The iron-armored bear rushed up, and the huge bear paw shot from top to bottom. With a slap, the apprentice martial artist was made into a patty, and the flesh and blood were sticking to the ground, and the surrounding blood spattered radially. Sister, brother will send you to the Thunder Martial Art Museum. This sentence, so calm, and so confident. Standing outside the factory, Li Kunlun took off his camouflage uniform and handed it to Li Xiaoyu, revealing his extremely strong upper body. Brother, don't. I don't want to enter the Thunder Martial Arts Hall, I don't want to. Li Xiaoyu cried and tried to hold Li Kunlun, but it was useless. Roar. The iron-armored bear man stood up and let out a roar like a beast king in the mountains, shaking the sky above the factory. Deterrence. Iron-armored bears are demonstrating. However, Li Kunlun strode toward the meteor, calmly walking towards the iron-armored bear that stood up to 4 or 5 meters high. A lot of monitoring in the factory area captured this scene. Wu Zongqian Liner wrinkled her delicate eyebrows and whispered, "What does he want to do? It's too impulsive. Do you want to challenge the intermediate-level fierce beast, the iron-armored bear? You must know that iron-armored bears are also extremely troublesome among many intermediate-level beasts." Zhou Lao, who had just praised Li Kunlun, narrowed his eyes, wondering why Li Kunlun did this. This kid is so unwise. All the experts present were not optimistic about Li Kunlun. Elder brother, Li Xiaoyu watched Li Kunlun's back muscles bulge like a mountain figure, her eyes moistened. She chose to trust her big brother. Roar. The iron-armored bear let out a deafening roar, and the bloody mouth spurted a stench of saliva. It was angered by success. In the eyes of the armored bear, Li Kunlun is just a bigger ant. Although Li Kunlun has a burly stature, compared to the iron-armored bear, he is almost the gap between a baby and an adult. The iron-armored bear stopped standing, landed on all fours, turned into a tiger tank and charged towards Li Kunlun. The iron gate of the factory was directly knocked out of shape and flew out. "Good come!" Li Kunlun shouted loudly, strode forward, and the speed became faster, turning into a run. This muscular body, the muscles are raised, and the tendons are like strands of steel bars twisted into strands, hiding terrifying and amazing strength. Li Kunlun is not a natural power. Everything belongs to his cell evolution. To put it bluntly, most of this strange power comes from insects. All the chief examiners in the control center all focused on the screen. They didn't expect that Li Kunlun would not only challenge the mid-level beasts, but also be tough on the front. Confused, old Zhou scolded angrily with the cane in his hand. Major Zhang asked, "Junyu, you have practiced martial arts horizontally, do you dare to meet a fierce bear with iron armor?" Martian hunter's son Junyu nodded and said, "I am a martial artist, and I am practicing martial arts. How can I not dare to confront the iron-armored bear? How many hours?" Son Junyu hesitated for a moment, then replied, 5 to 5, after all, humans can't compare with beasts. Ferocious beasts are naturally tyrannical, not to mention a leader like the iron-armored bear. Immediately, Son Junyu added, "But you also know that the further back the martial arts is, the more it is not simply cultivating the physical body. I want to kill the iron-armored bear, it's still very simple. As for that kid, just hit the stone with an egg." All the chief examiners present were not optimistic about Li Kunlun. At this moment, Li Kunlun and the iron-armored bear in the picture are about to confront each other. Li Kunlun mobilized muscles all over his body, and the strength of his limbs was transferred from his waist to his arms. Li Kunlun's right arm seemed to be thick. Boom! Li Kunlun took the last step and stepped down sharply. With one foot in military boots, the ground cracked open with cobweb cracks. I saw him raise his fist, without any bells and whistles, without any martial arts, just punched out with such a simple punch. 50-fold increase in power. Li Kunlun's essence skyrocketed. This punch, a huge force of 150,000 kilograms, can you stop it? Roughly imagine, the equivalent of a 150-ton super heavy tank smashed head-on. And the force area is actually only the size of a fist. At the same time, the provoked iron armor bear also waved its huge bear paws and hit Li Kunlun. Disproportionately sized fistfights. Boom! A large air wave exploded. Centered on Li Kunlun and the iron-armored bear, the hard concrete field sank suddenly. An even more shocking scene happened. The incomparably fierce iron-clad violent bear, its bear paw was pierced by a punch, and the blood exploded in the air, splashing on the far wall. Li Kunlun's arm, which punched 150,000 kilograms, was shattered with severe pain. It feels like tendons and bones are about to break. Li Kunlun didn't change his face, he shook his arm and made a crackling sound. Defensive power of the beetle. The vitality of cockroaches. The self-healing power of geckos and starfish. Let Li Kunlun's arm heal quickly and recover as before, withstanding the backlash brought about by the 50-fold increase in power. The evolution of cells gave him a super strong body that even Wuzong could not understand. Then, another punch. The first punch is the right hand, the second punch is the left hand. The 150,000 kilogram left hook slammed into the belly of the iron-armored bear. The iron-armored bear, which hadn't reacted yet, was directly kicked out, like a huge armored vehicle rolling over, and then crashed into a factory building. Whether it is Li Xiaoyu who is on the scene, or the strong men such as Zhou Lao, Major Zhang, Qian Liner, etc. who watched the video were all dumbfounded. Zhou Lao was stunned, leaning on crutches, unable to speak for a long time. Sun Junyu touched his nose and looked at Major Zhang. Qian Liner swallowed and whispered, "Is this kid a humanoid tyrannosaurus?" The scene just now turned Li Kunlun's image of a disciple in Qian Liner's heart into an earth-shaking reversal. They are not arrogant and arrogant disciples, they are powerful. A little hard. Li Kunlun's left arm was drooping down, and the blood in his left hand was blurred. The cells were dividing rapidly and healing quickly. Ding! The host's skin tissue is damaged, muscle tissue is damaged, bone tissue is damaged, cells evolve, and super-fast metabolism is obtained. The faster the metabolism, the faster the self-healing speed. Li Kunlun kicked his legs, and his speed increased in vain. Like a human-shaped cheetah, it left an afterimage and rushed into the factory building. No count. The factory collapsed. Inside, the iron-armored bear was full of rage, and even a roar of fear was mixed with it. Boom! The iron-armored bear came out of the ruins, panicked, and fled. It's scared. Bloody. The proud armor was torn off abruptly. Some armor positions are either about to shatter or have fist marks left. The ruins burst open again, and a figure followed and killed it. There is no skill to speak of. No bells and whistles. Force speed AA, simple rolling. This factory building rammed and stepped on several times before Li Kunlun killed the iron-armored bear with tenacious vitality and high defense. The iron-armored bear that destroyed Zhao Gongzi's regiment just died like this. Xiaoyu, come to eat. Li Kunlun, who was naked on the upper body, was extremely wild and domineering. He stood on the iron-armored bear, stepped on the iron-armored bear's head, and called Li Xiaoyu to eat. Have a meal. When Li Xiaoyu came in, he found that Li Kunlun had already started placing pots and pans, firewood, rice, oil, and salt. Lighting the fire, deherring, peeling, and slicing meat, all in one go. Li Xiaoyu used a short sword to cut a hole in the neck of the iron-armored bear, and successfully found the tracker. A white and silver tracker. It is equivalent to an admission ticket to the Thunder Martial Arts Museum. Brother, look, the silver tracker. Li Xiaoyu raised the silver tracker in his hand and cheered like a happy lark. Li Kunlun smiled. You hurry up and put it away. Li Xiaoyu stuffed the silver-white tracker into Li Kunlun and refused, no way. You killed the iron-armored bear. This silver-white tracker naturally belongs to you, big brother. Congratulations, big brother, you can enter the Thunder Martial Arts Academy for further study. Li Xiaoyu smiled and was really happy for Li Kunlun. Li Kunlun shook his head. The Thunder Martial Arts Academy is not suitable for me. I don't need to practice, and I can't practice. It's useless to learn even advanced martial arts. His words were flat. Li Kunlun is not uncommon in the Thunder Martial Arts Hall that others want to enter, and has an indifferent attitude. If other apprentices know about it, it is estimated that they will beat their chests and feet, cry, and be angry and envious. Li Xiaoyu looked at her brother with a dull expression. Cow, break. The sister finally gave a thumbs up. Brother, this white and silver tracker, I will accept it first. Li Xiaoyu said. Take it. Anyway, there are other intermediate level beasts. I really want to go to the Thunder Martial Arts Museum and hunt down another intermediate level beast. Li Kunlun said casually, flipped his palm and took out a delicate flip lighter. The 5 fingers turned like a pen, and the lighter went from the little finger to the index finger, and then the thumb pressed the lighter lid. PFF'd. The lighter burst into flames. Li Kunlun swung it casually, and the flame turned into a line of fire, which immediately ignited the firewood. Big brother, what a trick. Li Xiaoyu's clear eyes lit up. Just now, Li Kunlun was so handsome that he was very attractive to little girls. Li Kunlun smiled and used a dagger to cut the plump meat from the iron-armored bear, smeared it with salt, and roasted it on the fire. This is your brother's trick, keep it a secret for now. Li Kunlun's 2 trump cards. One is a 100-fold increase in strength. Another is his hard-trained fire control trick. Use the fire control ability to control the flame of a butane lighter up to more than 1000 degrees. Then use the royal energy to instantly detonate the temperature of the flame, which surged to 2 or 3000 degrees. You can even further increase the fire with the help of wind control capabilities. Lee Kunlun hasn't come up with a name for this move, but its power is definitely not lower than the 100-fold increase in strength. It's strong and cool. Lee Kunlun didn't even use a lighter when he was hunting the iron-armored bear. For him, there is absolutely no need to use a trump card to kill an intermediate-level beast. Soon, roasted by the high-temperature flame, the fat bear meat oozes shiny grease. The drops fell on the fire, making a mouth-watering sound of "cc." With the addition of seasonings such as salt, the barbecue becomes brown and golden, and the flavor is more full. Guru, Li Xiaoyu, a beautiful girl, was so greedy that she swallowed her saliva. Lee Kunlun flipped the barbecue and said with a smile, "Big brother said to invite you to eat barbecue, didn't he lie to you? We haven't eaten the meat of intermediate-level beasts yet, so it's a good time to eat." Li Xiaoyu's face was slightly red. Before I wanted to take the exam, I was still angry that Lee Kunlun was too rambunctious. What pots and pans, firewood, rice, oil, and salt were brought to hunt down beasts. Now it seems, it smells so good. The high-temperature flames quickly roasted the bear meat of the iron-armored bear. Lee Kunlun directly pulled the meat off the dagger, packed it on a plate, and pushed it in front of his sister. Eat it, the meat of an intermediate-level beast. Eating more is good for the body. Li Xiaoyu was so hungry that he devoured it regardless of his hot mouth. Lee Kunlun baked himself another big piece. When I beat the iron-armored bear just now, the cells had already evolved. Now, Lee Kunlun eats meat purely for physical energy. He does not rely on blue bars or infuriating battles to fight, but consumes his own energy. How can you fight without food? While Lee Kunlun and Li Xiaoyu were enjoying the barbecue dinner, the examiners were in a hurry. The battle between Lee Kunlun and the iron-armored bear destroyed all the cameras in the factory area. As a result, the monitoring of the control center lost the picture of the plant. I don't know how the battle ended. Sun Junyu scratched his cheeks anxiously. A fierce man who can be hardened and armored against bears has aroused strong interest in Martian hunters. Qian Liner said, "I bet 1 million yan national currency, it must be that Dengtu." Lee Kunlun won. Major Zhang said to the operator of the control center, "Quick, call up the camera near the factory building, we will see the picture of the factory building now." "Major, we are calling now." A few operatives quickly tapped the console. Finally, the camera of a 6-story staff dormitory next to the factory building was mobilized. The camera rotated 90 degrees, aimed at the workshop, and captured the image of the workshop. Several chief examiners came together. "Quick, zoom in on the picture." The surveillance camera zoomed in and out, and the plant image zoomed in again. It can be seen that the factory building that has turned into ruins is filled with smoke from cooking. A vague pair of men and women, sitting in front of the fire, don't know what to do, they look relish. Beside them, a hill-like black bear corpse also fell. "What are they doing?" Qian Liner asked curiously. Chairman Zhou said with a laugh and tears, 80% of them are eating barbecue. Barbecue. Several Lord Wuzong looked at each other. The bloody and cruel official martial artist exam turned into a barbecue party. President Zhou turned his head and asked, "Did you guys feel so relaxed when you took the official martial artist exam?" They shook their heads. It would be good not to be treated as the next dish by the beasts, who would dare to struttingly eat barbecue. That will only provoke more beasts to come. The bloody smell emanating from the corpse of the iron-armored bear really welcomed the nearby rotten dogs. They approached slowly and surrounded Lee Kunlun and Li Xiaoyu. "Big brother." Li Xiaoyu grabbed the dagger in one hand and reached behind his back with the other, holding the Vulcan shotgun. Lee Kunlun gorged on meat without caring. "Continue to eat, continue to drink, it's just a few chickens, don't worry about it." Li Xiaoyu completely believed in his big brother. "Put down the short sword and the Vulcan shotgun and continue eating meat." Roar. 5 or 6 rotting dogs approached, bared their teeth, and the stench of saliva kept dripping. Just when the hunger overcame them and the rotting dogs rushed forward desperately, Lee Kunlun raised his head sharply. Roll. Li Kunlun was furious, and ejaculated from both eyes. A thunderous roar exploded from Li Kunlun's mouth, and the sound waves spread in bursts. Intimidation plus hunting instinct. In a trance, like a huge blood-colored death character, branded in the mind of the rotten dog. At this moment, they seemed to have seen the strongest creature on the surface. As a hunter's rotten dog, he suddenly returned to the ancient times, turned into a weak prey, and burst out with an unprecedented desire to survive. What hunger, what greed, all conquered by fear. 5 or 6 rotten dogs whimpered, pinched their tails, and fled in confusion and panic. Seeing his sister staring at him in a daze, Li Kunlun swallowed a piece of bear meat and asked, "What's wrong?" "Keep eating," Li Xiaoyu said in a daze. "Big brother. You are too fierce, aren't you?" With a loud shout, the beast was scared away. "Why didn't I know that you are so powerful, big brother?" Li Xiaoyu has been protected by his big brother since he was a child. Playing with sand in the open space, other children bully her, always the big brother standing in front to protect her. In Li Xiaoyu's heart, Li Kunlun has long been her patron saint. Until the age of 9, the martial artist qualification test. Li Kunlun's martial artist qualifications are extremely poor. And sister Li Xiaoyu's martial artist qualifications are excellent. Later, Li Xiaoyu went to a martial arts school, while Li Kunlun could only go to an ordinary technical school. Li Xiaoyu, who practiced guidance and embarked on martial arts, grew stronger and stronger, surpassing his big brother Li Kunlun. At that time, Li Xiaoyu secretly swore in her heart that she would protect her big brother in the years to come. Unexpectedly, just when he became a proud apprentice martial artist, just when he thought he could protect his big brother, Li Kunlun showed his unknown side again. Powerful, violent, overbearing, confidence. The big brother in front of me is mysterious and charming. Li Xiaoyu stared blankly at Li Kunlun, with a different kind of affection secretly in her mind. She didn't know if she was a brother-in-law. Anyway, no one can tell this feeling. Silly sister, of course your big brother is powerful, otherwise how can you protect you? Li Kunlun fondly rubbed Li Xiaoyu's head. As for the secrets of the evolution of systems and cells, Li Kunlun will never tell. Just rot in the stomach. Even his sister or parents, Li Kunlun would not tell. Okay, hurry up and eat, you haven't hunted down a low-level beast yet. After all, Li Kunlun started grilling bear paws. An hour later. The park in the beast town is full of messes. The plowed turf, the broken tree trunk, the panting single ponytail girl. And, a python with black scales. Black-scaled horned python. Yes, I killed the black-scaled unicorn python, which is relatively strong among the low-level beasts, and made rapid progress. Li Kunlun clapped his hands in encouragement and walked out from the side. Li Xiaoyu wiped the sweat from her forehead, showing a happy smile on her dirty little face. She put the Vulcan shotgun behind her back and holstered the pistol. The Vulcan dagger also stabbed at the 7-inch position of the black-scaled one-horned python. The exam manual describes it clearly. The black-scaled unicorn python has hard armor and great strength, and its weakness lies in its 7-inch white scales. Although I know this, it is still extremely difficult to really kill. Li Xiaoyu was also a Vulcan shotgun, which shattered the bloody mouth of the black-scaled unicorn python. With another footwork, a sword pierced into the 7-inch position of the black-scaled unicorn python. A low-level vicious beast is so difficult to kill. Li Xiaoyu is more aware of the strength of his big brother. The iron-armored bears of the intermediate-level beasts were all beaten to death. Have a good rest, and then come and eat roast snake meat. Li Kunlun started fiddling with pots and pans again. This is called fighting for war. Others are still hungry, and fearfully avoid the beasts. Li Kunlun and Li Xiaoyu, brothers and sisters, even had a barbecue feast. It was the first time that several chief examiners had supervised the official martial artist exam for so long. After a while, in the narrow alley, Li Xiaoyu encountered 2 rotten dogs. Adult rotten dog. In other words, Li Xiaoyu was attacked by 2 low-level beasts. Li Kunlun stood by, still not planning to shoot. He said lightly, "There is no difference between the way a rotten dog and a dog attack. Their weaknesses are also the eyes, throats, etc. It is worth noting that the blood and saliva of adult rotting dogs are corrosive and contain thousands of harmful bacteria." Li Kunlun mentioned Li Xiaoyu. The corrosive bacterial blood of rotting dogs is of little use to Li Kunlun. Li Kunlun's cells have evolved and are already immune to these. But Li Xiaoyu can't. If the wound is stained with blood full of bacteria, even the warrior's body may fall ill. The combat uniform in the Vulcan suit is good. Li Xiaoyu has fought so far. Although the combat uniform has become dirty, it is not tattered. 2 million yen national currency, it's worth it. Li Xiaoyu held the dagger in one hand and the shotgun in the other, posing a posture of waiting. Roar! Under the confrontation, the two adult rotten dogs moved first. They instinctively did not dare to provoke Li Kunlun, and chose to bite Li Xiaoyu one after the other. Li Xiaoyu ducked sideways, raised the Vulcan shotgun with one hand, and shot at a rotten dog. The other hand swung a short sword and stabbed the second rotten dog. Bang! A gunshot resounded in the alley. At such a close distance, the lethality of the Vulcan shotgun directly smashed the small half of the body of one of the rotten dogs, and it was beaten with flesh and blood. The other rotten dog avoided the key point, but his skin was ripped apart by the dagger on his side. Both rotten dogs are not dead. Adult rotten dogs have stronger vitality, stronger body, faster speed, and stronger strength. The rotten dog, whose small half of his body was smashed by the Vulcan shotgun, swooped in the air, and swooped again the moment he landed. Li Xiaoyu stayed calm in the face of danger, and contacted and fired a few more shots. The shotgun with great melee power directly destroyed the rotten dog and fell to the ground. But when the rotten dog fell to the ground, a second rotten dog rushed behind it. Li Xiaoyu didn't have time to change the bullet, so he didn't panic, and immediately raised the Vulcan shotgun with both hands to block. The rotten dog pounced on Li Xiaoyu, and bit into the shotgun with a big mouth. The powerful impact hit Li Xiaoyu backwards and hit the wall of the alley again. Boom! Sound. The wall is falling. Li Xiaoyu fell to the ground. The rotten dog shook his head, frantically biting the barrel of the Vulcan shotgun. The sharp teeth and terrifying bite force slightly deformed the barrel of the Vulcan shotgun. The stench of blood is very close to him. This is a vicious beast. A mad and hungry beast. Li Xiaoyu turned his head to the side, and desperately pressed the Vulcan shotgun with both hands. The first time she wanted to find her big brother for help. No, you can't rely on big brother. Li Xiaoyu, didn't you swear to protect your big brother? Did such a little setback knock you down? A strong light flashed in Li Xiaoyu's eyes. At the moment when the rotten dog bites the next time, Li Xiaoyu finds the right moment and pushes away the Vulcan shotgun. At the same time, Li Xiaoyu's delicate body rolled to the side. He got up abruptly, knelt on the ground halfway, and clasped his gun holster with both hands. Draw the gun, aim, pull the trigger. Bang, 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 bang. Li Xiaoyu fired several shots at the rotten dog's neck. From rolling to drawing and shooting, all the actions are done in one go, which is handsome and stunning. The rotten dog is not dead yet. Li Xiaoyu fired more than a dozen shots, and the magazine was emptied. The rotten dog's neck was full of holes left by bullets, and the skin was ripped apart, and the bones were thick. If it weren't for the fact that there were still a few pieces of rotten flesh connected to the rotten dog's head and body, the huge dog's head would have fallen to the ground. Died. Li Xiaoyu sighed, picked up the short sword from the ground, and dug out the trackers of two adult rotten dogs. This tracker doesn't know what material it is made of, and it hasn't been smashed by bullets. It was a little scary just now. Li Kunlun put away the lighter, stepped forward and said. Just now, he also sweated for Li Xiaoyu and held the lighter in the palm of his hand in advance. If there is any danger in an order, Li Kunlun will immediately take action to save his sister. Li Xiaoyu replaced the pistol's magazine with bullets, inserted the holster, and laughed. Big brother, I'm fine. Battles are like this, you can survive from 9 deaths and survive, and you will be strong. Li Kunlun gave Li Xiaoyu a surprised look. The little girl who was still in danger and would hide behind her suddenly grew a lot. After more than half a day of actual combat, it can only be said that Li Xiaoyu has made rapid progress. Whether it is actual combat experience or psychological quality, there is a qualitative leap. Although I don't have the martial arts qualifications myself, I can train my sister to be a female martial artist. Valkyrie. Li Kunlun thought to himself. Rotten dogs are nothing to eat, let's go. Li Kunlun glanced at the rotting dog corpse in disgust. It's like the biochemical dog in Resident Evil. After seeing it, he has no appetite and can't speak. Thousands of apprentices take the exam. The entire ferocious beast town was shrouded in tense and dangerous killings. Brother and sister Li Kunlun and Li Xiaoyu hunt more beasts in the streets. They encountered brutal post-war scenes. I also met a trainee martial artist who was fighting a fierce beast. Li Kunlun brought Li Xiaoyu out of the mix and avoided it when he saw it. Passing by the door of a dilapidated supermarket, a young man wearing a blue-gray high-level combat uniform is cutting open a wild boar-shaped beast. Surrounded by shattered glass, bullet casings all over the floor, and the corpse of a trainee martial artist with spikes all over his body. Exploding arrow porcupine. Li Kunlun glanced at the wild boar-like beast. The arrow-bursting porcupine is the most troublesome low-level beast in the beast town. An angry porcupine with explosive arrows will shoot thorns on its body, piercing through the enemy, and it is very difficult to mess with. The man also noticed the siblings Li Kunlun and Li Xiaoyu. A wary look flashed in his eyes. Although it is in a beast town full of surveillance, there is an express prohibition in the exam manual that candidates cannot kill each other. However, there are some apprentice martial artists who are insane, and they do things like killing people and stealing goods. Li Kunlun looked back with little interest and said to his sister, "Let's go." Li Xiaoyu gave a and nodded obediently, listening to her big brother's words. Li Kunlun is interested in the porcupine, and looks forward to what abilities the cells will evolve after coming into contact with the porcupine. However, he has no interest in the beasts that others have hunted. Anyway, there are many porcupines with explosive arrows. If you want, just hunt and kill them. Seeing that the two brothers and sisters were leaving, the man dug out the tracker of the exploding arrow porcupine, put it in the tactical backpack, and hurriedly chased after it. Wait a moment. The man stopped Li Kunlun and Li Xiaoyu. He smiled and said, "My name is Chao Tanong." Li Kunlun turned his head and asked, "Is something wrong?" Chao Tanong's expression stiffened. I thought that the other party would have some other reactions when they heard their name, but I didn't expect it to be so common. Chao Tanong coughed dryly and said, "My ancestor, Chao Qingfang, was a Wu Zun who founded the Dragon Subduing Martial Arts Hall, which is also quite famous in Zhongcheng." Wu Zun. It is definitely a super strong person who suppresses one side, and is much stronger than President Zhou, who is a military general. However, Li Kunlun still had no response. What does your ancestors have to do with you? Li Kunlun has no habit of flattery. If it's all right, we'll go first. After all, Li Kunlun was about to leave with his sister. They're gone. Where can I find cannon fodder? Chao Tanong hurriedly said, "You too, it's getting late, too." Many terrifying beasts in the beast town have the habit of hunting at night. We might as well go together and take care of each other. No, after the exam, I am willing to give you 1 million Yangguo coins. No, 2 million, let's go. Li Kunlun was too lazy to talk nonsense with Chao Tanong, and took his sister away, no matter how much he increased the price. Li Xiaoyu glanced at Li Kunlun's profile and asked in a low voice, "Big brother, why don't you agree with him to form a team? After the exam is over, there will still be some money to take. And I've also heard of the Dragon Subduing Martial Arts Hall. It is very famous in Zhongcheng. The martial arts in the hall is called the 18 Palms of Subduing the Dragon. It is an A-level martial arts. When Chao Qingfang was still alive, it was true that Zhongcheng was a big shocker, and the Chao family was magnificent. Later, even if Chao Qingfang fell in a huge beast tide, the background of the Chao family and the Dragon Subduing Martial Arts Hall is still there." Li Kunlun said blankly, "Sister, you must know that outside the base city, people's hearts are often more terrifying than beasts. Faced with a beast, you will know for sure that it is an enemy, and you only need to think about how to hunt it. Faced with people, people are separated from each other. You never know what he thinks in his heart and whether he will betray you in the next second. Dangerous, often revealing human nature. You have also seen what happened just now. Chao Tanong's teammates were wiped out, and he was unscathed. It can be seen that this person, with the help of his own reputation, completely regards his teammates as cannon fodder. Of course, his movement should not be bad. As for the promises made easily, most of them are empty checks that we want to give him our lives. 1 million, 2 million, it's just a matter of lip service. Who can be sure whether the other party will honor his promise or not? Li Xiaoyu thought about it for a moment, and suddenly realized. At the same time, she also kept in mind Li Kunlun's saying, people's hearts are often more terrifying than beasts. These words have a decisive influence on Li Xiaoyu's future as a loner and a resolute Valkyrie.